Alright, let's see how this is working. Alright, let's see how this is working. I can hear myself quite well. I can hear myself quite well. I can hear myself. Oh, right, I forgot about the echo. Oh, right, I forgot about the echo. Oh, right. Anyway. Anyway. Oh, I'm talking to myself. I do not have my microphone on. Hi! We're here again in our life, the game. What can I say before we head right into it? Well, you can expect that in a nearby stream, not tomorrow, because tomorrow we'll also stream this, but on one of the stream I may be reading out a short of mine that I am writing, and other than that I don't think there's anything else that's important to say. Oh, one disclaimer, I may be talking off topic a lot because my head is kind of going crazy recently, and I have a lot of things that suddenly pop up in my head and I want to talk about them, and I probably will, so please be patient with me. And so let's dive right into it. We are doing step... Wait, did I change... Wait a second. What's the title? Okay, we actually may keep it like that. Alright, that's okay. Oh, okay. We are starting step 2. Since we have finished the 5 moments that I wanted to do, we will not be doing all of them, so the viewers can, play the game and see the others for themselves and still enjoy the game, like with something new, with some additional content. And so, let's dive right in. Yes, I want to go to the next step. I'll never get tired of that view. You stood beside your mom's, lazy and cove, as the 5 of you watched the sun dip into the ocean somewhere far, far away. You liked to imagine it cooling off in the water, resting itself before getting ready to shine brightly again tomorrow. That was a fun day. I didn't know they had a magician on the shopping street now. Neither did I. Oh no, we are so dull. Let's get out more. He didn't do real magic, Mom. How did you figure that one out?
Duh.
'Cause I know. That's not what real magic looks like. Oh, Lizzie dear. There's all kinds of magic in the world. Lizzie gave Mommy a suspicious look, but didn't dispute the claim. Oh, hello! Yeah, I'm just starting. I am doing fine. I've started a few minutes ago. We are just at the beginning of step 2 of this game. I don't know if you've played it before. Hello again. Okay, Lizzie gave Mommy a suspicious look, but didn't dispute the claim. You looked over at Cove, who hadn't said a word since he started home. He didn't look upset though, just content. You're aware he still hadn't quite warmed up to your parents. Well, we can sit out here all night. Time to hurry home and get cooking. Who's helping with dinner? Lizzie immediately let out a groan.
Ugh.
Mom, summer's almost over! Well, it's going nice. I quite enjoy the game, to be honest. Wait, okay, I should be at this side so you can see the text. It's really nice. I enjoy it a lot. For now, we've only been through the first step, but, well, I am excited to see what's coming next. Anyway, how have you been? Oh, I have played, on my YouTube account you can see me playing Start Again. I play some Pokemon fan games. I usually go for story-driven games for now. But yeah, I am planning to play Beginnigs on the next week, but since now we have Valentine's week, we kinda wanna play Atome. Mom, summer's almost over! The protest was obvious. You could practically see school on the horizon. You certainly didn't want to spend your last day bit of freedom cooking dinner. You could do that on any other day. Please, can we just stay a little longer? We have to keep playing before it's too late. It is almost over. You put on your best puppy dog eyes. Lizzie may not want to, but you plan on going home. I would either this one or this one. Yeah, I am very new. I've been streaming for a month or two, but I'm not doing it often. I've been streaming more regularly for 2 weeks. Sorry, a month, not 2 weeks. Damn it. I'm sorry. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. I hope you can stay. Okay, the puppy dog eyes. Let's go for this one. Oh, don't look at me like that. Like what?
Please!
So we'll have homework and reading to do. We can do work now. We can do work now too. Lizzie made her case and then stamped her foot into the ground. You mimicked her, feeling that would add something to the argument. Well?
No.
Oh, come on, Pam. I can help you with dinner. Mama leaned in for a hug, and you knew that you were very close to victory.
Okay.
Alright. But as soon as dinner's ready, you lot are coming inside, understood? Yes, Mom. You can drop your Insta or Twitter name here. I will screenshot it for myself and then I could check it out. But I will not be doing it now since, now I'm streaming, so... if you have Twitter or if you have Instagram, just let me... Okay, good. I'm glad we are on the same page. Yes, Mom! Cove, dear, you're welcome to join us as well. You grinned at Cove and nudged his arm with your elbow. Cove gave a non-committal shrug to your mommy, which you took as an agreement. So much to do, so little time. Maybe I could still get the seashell bracelet at Tines and Trinkets. Oh, or maybe the playground. Or the fireflies would probably be coming out, right? You silently made your own plans. Did I get to saying this? We can't go too far. We can't go too far. I was always wait a second. Maybe you could follow me, yeah. I would be something like this. I believe. I don't remember exactly what's my handle, but it should be something like this on Twitter. Just follow me and I will follow you back in shortly. We can't go too far. I was always a responsible kid, so I would point it out. I am trying to play this game as I was myself, so... Lizzie pouted at you as you pointed this out. Mom said to be back in time for dinner. It won't take that long.
I know!
I know, Machi. A strong gust of wind made you shiver. Lizzie huffed as she wrapped her arms around herself.
Rude!
Doesn't the wind know that summer's not over yet? That's all Lizzie said before abruptly turning on her heel and heading off in the direction your mothers had gone. Where are you going? I'm going to my room. I have lots to plan if I want to make the most of tomorrow. You thought this over, looking off towards the water again. Lizzie didn't wait, and before long she was disappearing off down the road. Meanwhile, Cove was going in the opposite direction, heading for the beach. I stayed with Cove. Cove gave you a smile that couldn't help but return.
Cool.
Cool. Wow. He made a little gesture that she interpreted as follow me, and then started heading to the waves. Cove knelt down, picking up something he quickly identified as a small frog. He reared his arm back, then tossed it out into the water. Alright, I may just give it back right now to not to forget. And I will check it out. Alright. Okay, I don't see you yet, I think. Oh, I think my notifications are just kinda shitty. Okay, I see you. Alright, gave it back. See ya! It was good toss, that was pretty neat. It wasn't long throw, but he didn't care to try for that. Why am I deciding his strength? I guess he gives this vibe? I don't really know why I'm deciding for him. Like, it's his personality, they should know if he's strong or not. But he gives me this vibe. You can't skip the rocks in the ocean, what are you doing? You looked for your own rock. I would ask what are you doing, just because I have never learned to skip rocks. I usually stream for around 2 hours, but today I would like to try to go for 3, just so I can go further with the story, so I can finish it as soon as I possibly can. Since I want to start playing Beginnigs ASAP, because I am excited for Beginnigs. I am seeing it all over the Twitter, and I'm like, I don't wanna get my first impression of stream, yet I can't stream it yet, and I am so like, yeah. Yeah, so what are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing, really. You tilted your head, wondering over the sudden pensive look on his face. Just thinking? About what? Cove was looking down at his cast, scratching idly at the pink surface even though you were pretty sure he couldn't feel it. His brows were furrowed and there was a frown on his face.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. I've had to wear this cast for ages. I can't even swim. How'd you get it? I was jet skiing. Cool! You beamed at him. You had never gone jet skiing, but you'd seen others do it all the time from the shore. It looks impressive. Cove looked a little taken aback by your outburst, but after a second he gave a small nod. He then continued to explain. I crashed. He gestured to his arm as if to say, and this was the result. It's hard to believe you're allowed to jet ski.
Well...
I'm not. Wow. He's such a rebel. Yeah, sure, you can show off. I will check it out once I'm done, streaming. Sure thing. Oh. Cove let out a huff, plopping down into the sand. I can't believe summer's almost over. You sat down next to him and nodded in agreement, regardless of the sudden topic change. I don't want to go to school. I mean, I would. I don't want to go to a new school. I think it will be the same school as you and Lizzie. My dad said something about that. Cool, you're going to like it. Everyone's super nice. You'd only ever been to the one school, but you were sure that his old school couldn't have been that much better. Then again, he did have to make new friends and meet new teachers. It could be kind of scary. Cove shook his head, then wrapped his good arm around his knees as he drew them to his chest. You heard a sniffling sound, and when you took a good look at his face, you realized that his eyes were wet.
I want to go home.
I know, baby. You'd never had to move before, but she thought you could understand. If you had to go to a new school all of a sudden, with all new people, you'd probably be dreading it dread in it too. Jesus, I can't read. Why can I never read? Thank you! Even though you sort of maybe understood, you still weren't sure how to help. Okay, I will see you later. Cove gave his head a small shake. No, I want to go back home. Right. Cove wanted to go back to his old home. The one that sat waiting someplace far from here. The one he would bring up whenever he felt this sad. It had been a while since he had moved in, but he didn't seem to feel any better about being here. You settled back down into the sand, trying to consider what to do. Do you hate it here? This can be your home. It will be alright. I mean, considering I already kinda like him, I think I'm fond of him, I wouldn't want him to hate it here. I would be like, well, you can make this place your home. It's gonna be alright, right? I think. It's a really nice home if you gave it a chance. Cove didn't respond to that. He just tightened his arm around his knees, resting his chin on them. You're not going to leave, right? You'll still be around? The question was a little surprising. Of course. I am a child. I can make stupid promises. Your parents would have mentioned if you were going to move or something, right? After a second, Cove gave a little nod. Once I get my cast off, we could go swimming. You were fine with him changing the subject again. Yeah, that would be fun. Cove smiled, then looked back to the waves. My dad keeps saying I'll get used to everything eventually, that I'd feel better then. It used to make me angry. I didn't want to get used to everything. You spared a glance over at Cove, and so the anger had slipped off his face in favor of something almost puzzled. But maybe that would be okay after all, as long as I really do feel better. I can see it. You could remember, a long time ago, when you'd first started going to school. You had absolutely not been okay with the idea of being away from your parents for most of the day, to listen to strangers tell you what to do and sit with kids you'd never met before. Things changing is hard. You held his hand. I can. I'll make sure you do. I'll make sure you do. I wouldn't hold his hand because I hate physical touch. I cannot stand it unless I'm really, really, really close to someone, so I'll make sure you do. Cove laughed, just a little, but she grinned, proud that you were able to drag one out of him when he was obviously feeling down. Even still, a second later, his eyes got a little misty once more. You got the feeling that they were different tears than the ones from before, though. I hope next summer I'll surf and go exploring and everything will feel like it's supposed to again. You will. It will. The two of you sat quietly, just taking in the sounds of the waves. You hoped that Cove would be able to accept this place as his new home. You definitely tried to help in what ways you could. There were so many wonderful things here Cove probably hadn't even seen yet. Lost in thought, you started a bit when you heard a faint, familiar sound. The sound of your mom shouting your name. You looked over your shoulder, realizing it was probably time for dinner. Time had really gone by fast. You stood and dusted the scent of yourself. My mom's calling. It's time for dinner. You should come. Cove looked up at you, expression screaming reluctance, yet ultimately, okay. When you smiled, Cove returned with one of his own. Machi, thanks.
Thanks.
He's so cute. He's so baby. It was nice where you were right then, but the two of you couldn't stay there in your own little world any longer. You were being called forward. So the both of you ran off towards your house, leaving the waves and summer behind. Let's see how he's gonna look like after the time skip. I'm so excited for that. Fuck you mean in between? Let me see it. Oh, okay. I mean, I'm not changing anything, so yeah, it's it's done. That's it. I don't feel the need to change anything. Okay, so now we're getting up and we're like teenagers. I feel like I would still be relaxed. I don't know if I would already crash. I mean, actually, being teenagers is like you start to see things and people are telling you things when they notice shit. So I feel like in my teenage years, would gaslight myself into a crush. I'm pretty sure. So let's go for crush, knowing myself. I would still be relaxed though. I wouldn't be nervous at all. I would be like, sup bro? Aww. Our Cove is a cutie! He's so cute! Little nerdy! Nerdy cutie boy! Okay, let's go! Just your feelings for Derek. I don't even know Derek. I guess I'm gonna be fond. And since I don't know if it's supposed to be like middle school or high school, because in middle school I would be nervous, in high school I would be relaxed. But I'm gonna assume it's high school and go for relaxed. I hope that that's gonna be like this. Or maybe nervous? Okay, I will go for nervous, because even though I was relaxed most of the time in high school, I would be like internally nervous to speak to some people. Like I had my clique, and without my clique, I was more nervous than without them. I wouldn't act so, but I would feel so. So yeah. Yeah, sure. Okay, so here is where we meet Derek, who is a second potential route, and we will see how it goes and how it looks and how this game takes DLC into consideration. August ended, September began. It was time to go back to school. Lizzie groaned and complained the entire first week. She hated going to classes. Still, there was interesting things to do that couldn't be done anywhere else. You weren't sure how Cove felt about it. He was enrolled that year. That was like a sign Cove would be staying in Sunset Bird for a while. At school, he was alright, but kept his distance from the other kids. From what you saw, anyway. Whenever he could, Cove stuck to you like a glue. He didn't even mind that much what you did to pass the time, as long as it was together. That's so cute! But I feel like this would be something I would do. Like, if I started talking to one person, I would glue myself to them. Because I was like, okay, I don't want to be alone, but at the same time, I am kind of scared to talk to anyone else. I'm just gonna glue myself to your side. So yeah. I feel like I am too loud. Like, I look at the microphone input on my OBS and I'm like, why is it... I told you guys I am hyperactive today. Alright, back to the story. If I'm too loud, well, fuck that. Someone would say something, right? Right? Jesus. Wait, I actually should drink something. I am so all over the... I'm gonna drink something. Okay, got some tea, got the game. Let's go back. Let's not get distracted by thinking. Sometimes it was like things were exactly the same as when you had first met. But other times, as you got older, you couldn't ignore how the feelings had changed in meaningful ways. That year, the divorce of Cove's parents was finalized. You overheard your parents talking about it, saying Cove's dad got full custody. At first, you worried that meant bad news. It made Mr. Holden cry, apparently. Then you found out it meant Cove would keep living with his dad. He would only stay with his mom a few weeks of the year. Cove cried too, for different reasons, you thought. It seemed like Cove and his dad might move again, but Mr. Holden decided to stay after all. Mom asked him about it once. He had said he didn't want to uproot Cove's life a second time. Mr. Holden tried to get Cove to like Sunset Bird more. He kept encouraging his son to go out and see the place. Sometimes Mr. Holden volunteered you to spend time with Cove. Wow! Roping me in, I see. He seemed very confident that it was an effective strategy. Damn. Cove never talked to anyone about what happened with his parents and withdrew whenever it was brought up. It was hard for him, yet nobody knew how to help. Eventually, Cove stopped crying on his own. You couldn't understand what had changed. But you hoped that you could help him feel better still, since even without the tears, he looked sad. Maybe one day he could say out loud what he felt inside. After that, it felt like things had gone back to normal, except what was normal didn't stay the same. Years passed, and suddenly you were in middle school. You weren't a kid anymore, you were 13 years old. That officially made you a teen, even if your sister didn't agree. The toys and crayons that used to litter every free space in your room had been packed away somewhere and replaced by new hobbies. There were other changes too. Cove's cast got taken off. It was weird to see him without it initially. Underneath the pink plaster ended up being a long, thin scar that sneaked across his forearm. Cove's chest puffed out in pride when someone drew attention to it. Wow, he wants to be so macho. That's kinda cute though. He also went through a major growth spurt. He was the tallest student in his class for 2 years in a row. Cove will probably hold a spot again next time. In class, people knew him for more than just being tall. He also stood out because of how well he did on tests and in other academic situations. Over the years, he began opening up more too. You saw him talking amicably with other kids or neighbors from time to time. That's good. That's very good for him. I'm glad. And the only kid that came to visit the neighborhood when you were little, Shiloh, well, he was gone. He and his mom moved back south because of her work, just 1 year after Cove came to Sunset Bird. It had been really upsetting when he left. Lizzie was inconsolable for weeks, but nobody talked about Shiloh anymore. It was a long time ago. You learned some heartbreaking things became less sad the further away they were, even if they had never gotten any better. That was sad in its own way. Things at home were different too. You still lived in the same house and all that, but it wasn't how it was before. Ah! I don't know what I did, sorry. You're still in the same house and all, but it wasn't how it was before. Jesus. Language. There are languages, there are words, and I am supposed to read those. Jesus Christ. Ma dyed her hair purple, wanting something new, and liked it so much she kept dyeing it. You remember calling her mommy as a kid, but something like that seemed awkward nowadays. It doesn't, I still call my mom mommy. I call my dad father and I call my mom mommy, but more like mama, because I never called her mommy. I called her mom and then it went to mama. You were much too old for the word. Lizzie felt too mature for her nickname, too. She insisted on everyone calling her Elizabeth, so you did. Your mom soon gave her permission to go places other than the playground and the shopping street, which she took advantage of. You rarely saw her around the old neighborhood. In fact, she hardly spent time with you the way she did before. Elizabeth instead associated more and more with girls from school who were her own age. Maybe the difference between 13 and 15 was greater than the difference between 8 and 10. You started befriending new people yourself, like Derek Suarez. He didn't live in the neighborhood or go to the same school. What happened was his and Cole's dad struck up a business partnership a few months ago. Since then, Derek would pop up in the area now and then. It seemed Mr. Suarez was happy to let Derek tag along to his walk, if Derek had the time for it. I don't know if I'm supposed to read Derek with, kind of rolling R, since, Suarez is Latino, and if it's supposed to be read in a Hispanic way, or if I should Americanize it and say Derek. I have no idea. But I guess we will stick with Derek. I guess. Because Suarez says Suarez. I'm not gonna say Suarez. Just Suarez. So yeah. Without a doubt, everyone and everything around you had changed, in small and big ways. You had too. As time went by, though, it was easy to settle into this new normal. Then, before you knew it, school was over and summer vacation had come along. It was the first day of summer vacation. The sun was as hot as ever, but you were inside and away from its harsh ways. To be more specific, you were snuggled in bed celebrating your time of by sleeping in, wide awake, about to... I'm sleeping. Me? When I'm 13? Girl, I'm sleeping. Unfortunately, you hadn't prepared for an intrusion. From beneath the blanket, you heard the door creak open. You're still sleeping? Wow, get up! Go away, you pretend to be still asleep, you got up, you started to fake snore loudly. Morning! Well, I guess I'm not arguing with Elizabeth on a daily, so I'm not saying this. We got a little bit further apart from each other, as much as I understand, as far as I understand. But that would be it. I pretended to still be asleep. Probably. Knowing myself from those years. You stayed wrapped up in your blankets, not moving an inch with your eyes closed peacefully. By the impatient tapping of her foot, you could tell she hadn't left. Come on, I know you heard me. Get up now. I will come over there. So much for a lazy morning. Your special boy at the door, like he always is now. He brought some happy summer gift from Mr. Holden. Mom wants you to take it from him, say thanks or whatever. You did not like the way she called him your special boy. Cute. But you knew now that saying so wouldn't stop her.
Come on.
So calm down already. Be right there. Okay, fine. Really? That's great, I'm coming. I'll be there when I'm there. Okay, fine. Elizabeth said nothing else and left, having done what was instructed of her. You rolled out of bed, stretching your arms up high and yawning. Time to get ready. You set yourself in front of the mirror and in the far corner of your room. I'm not tall, I'm average height. I am perfectly average height in my country. Therefore, I will not allow anyone to call me short. There are people who are trying, because, well, I do live in Europe, so we are pretty tall by default. But I am not short, still in my country. I am average height, perfect, to be honest. So I am not short, I am average. 166, baby. Cove was really tall. Derek was kind of short, and you were pretty much the exact height that someone would expect a 13-year-old. You liked your height, you weren't sure how to feel about it, you were kind of self-conscious over it. When I was a kid I liked it. Right now, because people are pointing it out sometimes, I am kind of like this. That's why I went so defensive. But no, I'm going defensive because it's funny. I fuck with my height. It suited you well in your mind. Then you put the finishing touches on your outfit while ruminating on the situation. Careless as they had been, Elizabeth's words piqued your curiosity. You planned on going over to see what Cove was up to today, so this worked in your favor. Something to drink? A second? It was when you spotted your reflection that you realized you were smiling wide. You were looking forward to seeing him. You left your room, taking an easy turn down the stairs. This is a boy. Hello, boy. Welcome. You spotted Mom first, reclining on the couch. She held a magazine in her hands, which was perusing through. Morning, Mom. She looked up at your greeting, a smile instantly appearing on her face.
Thanks.
Good morning, Machi. Thank you for coming down. Ma's at the door with Cove. He can't stay over today, unfortunately. Why don't you go and thank him before he leaves? You nodded and made your way to the front of the house. Just as she said, Ma was there making conversation. She must have heard you because she looked over her shoulder.
Oh?
She looks really good with the purple hair. I'm glad she decided to keep it. Look, finally made it! Morning, sleepyhead! Ma reached forward as he knew she was about to pat you on the head. She was taller than average, so you were little in her eyes despite being a typical size for your age. Wow! I happily let her do it. I like headbutts. Like, I know I said I don't like physical touch from, someone I'm not really close with. I am really close with my mom, that's one. Two, you, as long as I consider you a friend of any sort, you can headbutt me. I like headbutts. Like, headbutts are great. We should just do it more often. Headbutts are awesome. The type of small affectionate exchange was nice. She placed the whole of her hand on the top of your head for a second before lifting it back up. Aw, you're the last one down today, you know that? Life isn't a race. Can you give me guys a second? Okay. Life isn't a race. Morning. I was going to stay in longer, so you're welcome. Sorry about the way. What did we get? Life isn't a race.
Funny.
I don't think that excuse will work if you're late for anyone other than your own mother, though. With a small laugh, Ma stepped aside. Cole was just as you remembered, exactly how you came to know him to be. He's so adorable! Look at him blushing! Wait, can I? I don't know if I can. I don't think I can hide it. But look at this cutie! He likes us! Look at him blushing! That's so cute! I love that for me. Oh my goodness, we must be such cute sweethearts. Damn. Like, if I was their parent, I would be like, oh my goodness, that's adorable. Like, I would get cuteness aggression over these two. Totally. I know myself, like... He's so baby. He leaned uncomfortably to the side. He leaned uncomfortably to the side in your doorway as his bushy hair covered part of his face. His features were pinched in embarrassment as he shifted from one foot to another. He was holding what must be the much... Freak. Wait. Mind reset. Deep breath. And again. He was holding what must be the much talked about gift. See, I can read. At first glance you figured it must be a bouquet of flowers. Then you gave it a real look. No, instead it was carefully cut fruit. Oh my god! It's just a bunch of fruits, right? Not one fruit, bunch of fruits. Like I see grapes here. These are probably like some apples or mangoes or some things like that. Right? If he made it himself, he is down bad. It made a lot of sense that it was actually from Cove's dad. You had to suppress a laugh at this showing. You couldn't imagine many folks buying that sort of thing for their own personal enjoyment. That kind of arrangement was built for the presentation, likely to impress whoever was inevitably going to receive it. It seemed no matter how long he lived here, Mr. Holden would keep going out of his way to be neighborly, and Cove would always be roped into participating. At the sight of you, Cove smiled, but there was some nervousness in it. Hey, you smiled back. You couldn't help thinking to when you first met Cove and how you became such good friends. Lately though, you were starting to have different feelings for him. Hey, it's nice to see you.
Yeah.
You too. His grip on the base of the gift tightened and your heartbeat sped up. Even if neither of you had spoken about it, both of you were aware something new was growing in your relationship. That's so adorable, I can't. This is why I started making little notes on my books when I'm reading them, just so the person who would read them after me would know exactly what I was going through when reading those. I am always going nuts when I am reading a story. I am the type of person who would immerse themselves into the story. I am living these characters, okay? So this feels like, like I'm watching two kids from my neighborhood or two students of mine just getting fuzzy for each other. Like, that's so cute. It was already shaping up to be another long summer. The best part was that the two of you had plenty of time to spend together and explore what was developing. His awkwardness over the task started to creep back in, so Cove nudged the gift closer to you. He was ready to be relieved of it. Your hands brushed over his just slightly when you took hold of the base. He flinched enough for you to know with certainty that he noticed it happen. You couldn't help but smile to yourself. And with that, the gift was accepted. I hope you and your family like this. It's a pretty good gift. I think so anyway. He smiled earnestly. Dad spent a lot of time picking out the best size and design. There were so many options to choose from. You are too cute sometimes. Let's tease him. He's so teasable. I'm gonna tease the shit out of him. He's a victim. I'm not trying to be, like, I could be such a little shit as a teenager if someone was like this in front of me. Like, right now, I am more... I can keep my composure sometimes now, but back then, if you were close to me, if we were close friends, and you were teasable, you were getting teased to the bone, baby. just thank my dad for all this, okay? Alright. Mr. Holden's behavior really was different from any neighbors you'd ever have had. Though after 5 years you were used to his antics, and you'd since made up your mind on what your opinion was. He was nice, he was sort of funny, pretty weird, didn't like you, great, kinda handsome to boot. I mean, he is handsome, but I am 13, so he's funny. Sometimes that could be a good thing, and other times it was a bad thing. Your thoughts were quickly interrupted by a shout. There you are! You shared a confused look with Cove. As one, both of you stepped through the open door onto the neighborhood street. It didn't take long to locate the source of the noise. You spotted Derek just a few yards down the road. He ran up to you. You were happy at the sight of him, you were confused. I was confused, probably. You hadn't expected to see Derek today, though you never really knew when he'd appear. He's beautiful too. Yeah, he's beautiful. I don't know him yet, so like, you won't see a bigger reaction than that. After stopping a couple steps away, Derek hunched over to catch his breath. Then he looked up with a wide grin.
Hey.
Hey, Gallon Ball. I was just at your house, Cove, but no one was there. Could have figured you'd be at Marge's place. Do you ever spend time in your own home, or are you always just there? That height difference, though. They are the same age, by the way. They are the same age. It looks like this guy is 2 years younger. Oh my god. Holy shit. What could the height difference be? I'm like somewhere in the middle there, I guess. So if I'm like 160, he would be like 170 something, and he would be like 150 something. But I guess he's gonna jump up, right? You know, since it would be sad if he didn't, he plays basketball. Derek laughed at his own joke. He either didn't notice that it embarrassed Cove, or the embarrassment was what he was actually laughing at. Derek turned to you. He was going to say more when his eyes widened and he gasped. What's that? You followed his gaze, unsure. Then you realized what he meant. You were still holding Mr. Holden's gift. It's kind of like a bouquet of flowers, but made of fruit.
Nice.
Nice, can I have some? Sure. I mean, it's from Mr. Holden, it's not from Cove, so... The way he side-eyed me... It's a gift from a family, I can give it to you. Maybe you can have some later. I haven't even tried it yet. Maybe later. Like, I should probably give it to my family first and ask them if they're okay with it, instead of just giving it to a random boy before they can see it. So maybe you can have some later. Derek grew more excited by your words, bouncing on the balls of his feet. Awesome. Then he nodded his head as if to clear it. Anyway, that's right, I came here because I needed to say something big. He paused, possibly for effect. There's some other kid in Sunset Bird. Cove was as surprised as you were by the news. Such a reaction made sense. No one around your age had moved here since Cove did 5 years ago. Were they with their family? Maybe they were cutting through? Nuh-uh, the new kid was all by himself just walking. Did you talk to him?
Nope.
Nope. I came to report the sighting right away. The kid had green hair, glasses, was pretty small, and seemed really upset about something. I hope he didn't leave. I mean... like, just a small Cove. Cove, do you have like a little sibling or something? You blinked. Slowly, you looked over to your longtime neighbor. That sounds a lot like you, Cove. When you first got here, anyway. It kinda does, doesn't it? That's weird. You sounded almost fond. A small smile playing on his lips. He sounded almost fond. A small smile playing on his lips. Derek snickered, good-naturedly. I can see that really well. I can see that really well, now that you say so. But what you say? Let's go find Cove's lookalike. We should all meet him.
Sure.
I'll do it. Sure, I want to see who this person is. Derek grinned. Then he pointed down the street, the way he came. Last I saw him, the mystery visitor was going this direction. Nothing else needed to be said. The three of you were off, with Derek leading the way. Derek brought you to the beach, as a trio, you made your way down the shore to the old playground. You walked a familiar path in a comfortable silence. When you were almost there, you spotted the kid in question. His bright colors almost shone like a beacon beneath the rays of the sun. He scuffled around, kicking up the sand as he paced. It was true, he certainly seemed upset, but you didn't think he was sad like you had originally pictured. No, with his erratic movements and scrunched-up expression, he came off angry. You started to have doubts about this expedition. Maybe it'd be better if you left him alone and let him sort himself out. Derek didn't feel the same. He waved wildly, calling out to the boy. "Hey, guy! Over here!" Wow. With this hairstyle, I'd be angry too. Okay. The kid whipped around, an impressive scowl carving deeper into his face. His eyes were tired, but a strong, hostile energy still radiated from him.
What?
What? What is it? What do you want? The sharp tone made Derek flinch. He shifted on his feet. What's your name? Jeremy. Was that it?
No.
No, I'm Derek, and that's Maggie and Cove. We were just walking around and saw you. He wanted to say hi. There aren't a lot of kids our age in the neighborhood. Yeah, so, it's cool to see someone else here. Strangely, Jeremy grew furious by your response. If steam could erupt from a person's ears, it would have happened then. They did bring me somewhere stupid. Of course, I knew it. What?
My parents.
My parents. They're the ones who brought me. I didn't walk to this town. Can you not figure that out on your own?
Right.
Right? My dad brings me to Sunset Beach too. When he has to come for work and all that stuff, it's not bad. That earned him a glare from Jeremy. Derek winced. Okay, wait. Let's read it again because I thought it was more like Cove talking about his dad bringing him over. That's why I was surprised by the present tense. Jesus. Sorry, my throat is still kind of sore. Right, my dad brings me to Sunset Beach too when he has to come for work and all that stuff. It's not bad. That earned him a glare from Jeremy. Derek winced beneath it, glancing away. It was a struggle to remain friendly with this Jeremy guy. I mean, I wouldn't want to come here for a real vacation probably either. That's an understatement. This doesn't count as vacation. It's a waste of time. A chore. My parents' family is nearby and we just had to come see them. If they're your parents' family, doesn't that make them your family too?
I guess.
Wow. That's a pretty good reason to come by. Did you want to go somewhere else? No. Jeremy crossed his arms with a hug. He turned away. They should have gone by themselves since they cared so much and left me home. But I'm not allowed to be by myself. Pfft. It makes no sense. They're the ones who don't know how to do anything, and I'm the kid? Okay. Let's take a chill pill first. Damn it. That guy needs a talking. That guy needs a serious talking. Oh, I would talk to him so much. He needs a talking. Like, there are so many emotions in this little thing. I should stop referencing to my work, huh? You keep quiet, you shouldn't talk about your parents like that. Sorry, it must suck being forced to do something you don't want. We just said hello, you don't have to keep complaining at us. Calm down, you don't have to yell so much. Who put you in your cereal this morning? Okay, the thing is, we are the ones who came over to him. He definitely didn't want to be approached. We were the one who started. He has the right to complain to us. We should have seen that coming, so it's kind of Derek's fault. Let's try to calm him down. As if that does anything, you turn to Cove, lowering your voice. The two of you aren't that similar after all. Jeremy must have had good hearing though, because he caught the private exchange and scoffed.
Stupid.
Of course we're not similar. My eyebrows aren't stupid. Cove's cheeks flashed crimson at the insult. Well, at least he has normal hair. Jesus. You couldn't be sure if it was out of embarrassment or anger. Maybe both. Come on. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. Like, boy, you can complain about your parents. You are not going after my friend. Yep, it's embarrassing and awful, but my parents made me. I won't have to have it when I'm older. I don't know what he's gonna do with those things, except maybe shave them off. He probably should. I bet he'd look less damp with no eyebrows. You crossed your arms over your chest, you shook your head, you patted Cove on the shoulder, you lunged towards... I crossed my arms, so I wouldn't attack him, I would go with another insult. I would be like, okay, but those eyeshadows, eye bags won't go away that easy either, bitch. And you can regulate your eyebrows unlike, you know, regulating eyebrows is kinda easier than regulating your fucking temper, huh? Egoistic type bitch. He literally looks like Ego, just hair green. You're getting really tired of this. Wow, what's wrong with you? Instead of taking offense, Jeremy only parroted Derek's words in a nasally voice.
Wow, what is wrong with you?
Wow. This is dumb. Jeremy stuck out his tongue and skulked away, throwing more sand everywhere as he went. You watched him go, hunching over until he became a speck in your vision. Silence reigned in his wake. The three of you tried to process what just happened. I can't believe it, what a mean kid. Derek wasn't kidding, and by the sound of those earlier complaints, the new boy Jeremy was going to be in the area for at least a little while this summer. Derek sighed in dismay, plopping onto the ground. You followed, and Cove did too, shortly after. There wasn't much else to do.
This sucks.
I was hoping we could meet someone fun. Hang out, maybe. He shook his head. After a moment, he slowly turned to you with a hopeful expression. But you know what would really improve today? What? He didn't respond. Instead, he used a hand to point, right at the fruit arrangement that you were still holding. You'd completely forgotten about it during the mini-drama that unfolded. You had gotten used to the wait. Glancing over the Cove, you noticed he was eyeing the fruit. He must have wanted some too. Why not? That's it. You know what? Fuck it. After what just happened, my man needs some, you know... How do you say that? Reassurance. Derek perked up immediately at your words. He reached out for a skewer, hesitating slightly once he was inches away.
Are you sure?
He nodded, with With an eager grin, he plucked out a prime row of fruits. Cove grabbed one for himself after him. Only you were without a skewer of your own. Pineapple, grape, strawberry, melon. Strawberry. The strawberry was a bright red and beckoning you. It was the obvious first choice. Derek ate a pineapple skewer enthusiastically, finishing it within moments. This is amazing! It's not different than any other normal fruit. It kinda was. These have been out in the open with their skins off for a while. Sheesh! Sheesh! Hey, you two remember the land before time? The fruit thing makes me think of it. The dinosaurs all liked the leaves that were shaped like stars. 3 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, jumping leaves looked so delicious when they did it. And there was that scene with the pretty trees and all the dinosaurs came in and picked everything of them till there was nothing. That's us right now. Awesome! I like that movie. I've never seen it. I didn't like that one. That movie's for kids. It looks good. Should I worry about you? Do you think things taste better when they're shaped like stars? Let's go for this one. He snickered. Not everything, but it probably helps. The 3 of you continued like this for the next few minutes. Eventually, the display was barren. It looked weird when devoid of fruit. Yes. A moment. Hey, we weren't supposed to eat all of it. It did help make you feel better. I need to move around a little. Okay. Eating it all hadn't made you feel better. It did help me feel better. I like fruits. And I think fruits can really help you feel up with the mood. So yeah. Derek was right. It was so good you were already brightening up from the earlier drama. Hey, Machi. Yeah? The 2 of you met eyes casually. That was pretty cool. When you sit back at that guy. Oh, thanks. I was just saying what I thought. Derek chimed in while in high spirits. You totally own him. I don't know what his parents say, but it's good at least somebody's around to tell him what's what. Yeah. Derek then leaned back on his arms. He contemplated the sky with a content sigh. So, are you both ready for summer break? How's someone supposed to be ready for break? Yeah. Cool on you. Wish I could say the same. It feels like there's a lot to plan for. And what about you, Cove? Are you ready? Yes. Before he could say anything else, the light atmosphere was shattered.
Hey!
Hey, Machi! You glanced over your shoulder to your sister. She strolled closer and closer, appearing none too pleased. I've been looking all over for you. Must said you and Cove ran off with the thing Mr. Holden bought for us. She leaned over you with arms folded. So, where is it? Well, it's gone. What do you mean, gone? You moved over to the side to face her completely. She zeroed in on the bouquet in your hand. On the bouquet in your hands, which was now populated exclusively with skewers dripping in juice and tiny flecks of leftover fruit pieces. Her mouth dropped open and the tone of her voice rose.
What?
Seriously, Machi? What were you thinking? It was supposed to be for all of us at home. She glanced at Cove, who sat beside you, and continued mockingly. Even if you are the most important person in the household to the delivery boy, that was up to his dad. It seemed everybody was in a mood to tease you and Cove today. Within moments, Cove's cheeks flushed red. He picked up the hem of his shirt, suddenly finding it very interesting. Adorable! He always became nervous when Elizabeth would strike at your relationship. Sorry, get over it. Well, the morning's been kind of a disaster. We were hungry. It wasn't us, the signal came down. Well, we had a rough morning, so we needed that. Elizabeth narrowed her eyes, not at all persuaded. Oh no, I think I heard the mean kid coming back. We better get out of here. Elizabeth blinked, confused, and looked around.
What?
What kid? I don't see anyone. Derek didn't bother explaining. He just lounged to his feet and ran off. Cope hopped up too, gladly taking the opportunity to exit the situation. He followed after Derek, but he sent a look to you from over his shoulder. You turned to watch Elizabeth. She stared back, brow raised. I would stay. It would be mean to just run away. I'm not that kind of kid. You didn't make a break for it. Instead, you carefully got out from the sand, bucket still in hand. Once you straightened up, Elizabeth smiled affectionately over at you.
Come on.
Come on, fugitive. You nodded, then gazed at the empty bucket. How would you explain what happened? You know, you could tell them those boys ate it all. They bailed, so they didn't get to tell the story. Mums would never need to find out. Are you serious? She bumped your shoulder, winking cheekily. What else is family for? You left together, making your way home side by side. When you and Elizabeth had returned earlier with the empty bucket, Mom was bummed she didn't get any. Mac consoled her with a promise to make her a fruit flower of her own later. Elizabeth said nothing about how it came to be empty, and the event was dropped without question. You think they were just happy you and your sister seemed to be in good moods. I need to drink something again. Jesus. And it's barely been an hour. Damn. Okay, second. Alright. It should be better now. After that, Derek had rejoined you in the living room. He had to show his face again eventually after running off. The dust had settled from the prior events and your moms went back to their room, so Derek was just taking it easy until his dad arrived. Mr. Suarez was meant to be there any minute to get Derek. Derek preferred not to see it and instead took long, lazy strides in a circle around the edge of the rack. Hands behind his back and head angled towards the ceiling, Derek looked like he might have been puzzling out a crime. He probably made a half-dozen rounds when a solid knock struck your front door. That stopped Derek in his tracks. Dad's here. The both of you stepped towards the door in unison. You arrived first, since you'd have a half-room head start. When it pulled it open only a crack, someone zoomed in past you. Aww! He has a little sister! She's so cute! She looks like a troublemaker. The breakneck flash of human was still entirely recognizable. It was Derek's little brother. Brother! Okay! It's his little brother. I'm sorry to assume. Nicolas Suarez. He shouted triumphantly.
Derek!
Derek! We're here! He was only 6, the tiniest kid around. Hot on his heels came to middle Suarez's son, George.
Nicholas.
Nicholas, we have to stay in the car. We're going home. We're not here to play. He was 10, and his patience was being tested. The youngest one frantically shook his head. It made his hair even messier than it already was. Oh my god, Derek is the oldest child! That adds to the charm. Nicholas' hair was as wild and free as he was. Hair clips and his parents' minivan couldn't contain the energy. Which might have been surprising considering he loved cars enough to wear a shirt covered in them, but you knew Nicholas loved Derek even more. Staying right where he was, inside your house, at his even older brother's night, Nicholas gave Derek a hug. I came to get you. Derek bent down to scoop Nicholas into his arm in a fond squeeze, though he kept his face tilted up to make eye contact with George.
Hey.
Hey bros! That's so cute. Aww. And those are the parents of the happy bunch. Side by side, Mr. and Mrs. Suarez trailed in. The resemblance between the parents and their children was clear. Derek and George were the spitting image of their father. George was even sometimes called Junior, while Nicholas was a mommy's boy.
Good evening.
A good evening, Machi.
Hello.
Hello. You have to forgive the free ring circus visiting town. The boys just had to come. Hi, don't worry about that, you're welcome here. You didn't know what to say to them. I love seeing the boys. You merely shrugged. I love seeing the boys. Actually, wait, I'm 13. When I was 13, I didn't really like the very much younger kids. But no, 7-year-old is actually good. No, wait. I mean, considering they are being kind of cool, I'm gonna go with this one. The frown that had been stuck on George's face finally eased up a little. Aw, how kind!
Goodbye.
But we can't stay. Thank you for letting Derek visit and tell your mothers I said hello. Okay. Come on, boys. All 4 of you now. Let's give the Halter family their house back. Come in.
Yes, Mom.
Yes, Mom. Half of the group trotted forward with only a word. They went past Mrs. Suarez and out the door. She watched them go before surveying the situation with the most troublesome one. Nicholas was just bouncing around Derek, as if he didn't even hurt his parent. Derek and his mom looked on with identical expressions of exhaustion-tinged affection. When an opportunity opened up between hopes, Derek carefully took hold of Nicholas' small hand. Let's go to the car, Nico. You can sit next to me. Thrilled by the promise, Nicholas let out another cheer.
Let's go!
Yeah, let's go to the car! Mrs. Suarez left it there, trusting her eldest, and went to join Mr. Suarez and George. Nicholas gripped Derek's black wristband with his free hand, stretching it outwards in his eager attempt to lead his bigger brother along. Derek stumbled forward with a chuckle, mostly to protect his band from being pulled too far rather than Nicholas actually having the strength to move him. But he made sure not to forget you. Derek said his goodbye from his shoulder. Bye, Paul! I would say bye-bye. Good night! After the prompt entrance and equally quick exit, the whole Suarez family was on their way home. You, however, didn't have anywhere to go. It was late enough that the rest of the day would be spent inside your house. That was a while ago now. Later that night, you found yourself seated near the kitchen counter. Your fingers drummed on the surface as you waited, your gaze trained on the phone. You were waiting on a call tonight, specifically from your cousin Leandra. Leandra? Sounds more like a Leandra. Let's say Leandra. You didn't want to miss it accidentally. Your uncle, aunt, and me used to live many hours away. Your families only saw each other a few times a year for big occasions. A while back though, they moved and were closer to you than ever before. You now hang out regularly. With school being out, you're positive she's gonna wanna come over a lot. The two of you were the same age and got along well. She used to be really fond of Lizzie, Elizabeth too, but now that your sister had become allergic to interacting with her own family, it tended to be just you and Lee who spent time together. she was your only friend who was a girl. Me and family helped you make you close, but you had a lot of girlfriends. Probably this. I didn't have many friends as a kid. I was shy. You weren't a girl yourself, so maybe that's why. But you had plenty of other friends, but you didn't really have other friends either. Damn, that's depressing. Ma always said that quality was more important than quantity when Elizabeth bemoaned your small social circles. Wow, that sounds like my brother. You weren't sure how friendship's quality was judged, but nevertheless you thought that what you had and that what you had with Lee was good. Then the shrill ringtone announced an incoming call. You jumped before grabbing the receiver and pressing it to your ear. Lee, finally! Who is it? Hotel residence, Machi speaking. Hello? Hello?
Hi!
Hi, Machi, it's Lee. She's so cute. I'm glad it's you. For a second there, I thought it might be one of Elizabeth's friends. There was static on the end, as if Lee was shifting wherever she was. So, can you believe school's actually over? I thought it would never be done. Now we don't have to do any of that boring stuff, and we get to hang out whenever we want. Speaking of hanging out, Lee, can you wait a second? Let me just head to my room.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You get up from your seat at the counter. Luckily, the phone was wireless, so you didn't have too much to worry about, any cords tying you down. Your mom's had a rule about not moving the phone unless a call was in progress, which was why you'd been sat by a squaddle waiting for Lee to call. I mean, it would make sense. I wouldn't like it, but it would have to be that way. I mean, other people are using this too. So yeah, I didn't like it, but it had to be that way. You weren't the only person here. If anyone could take the phone anywhere at a time, it would be an even bigger hassle. You could easily imagine the receiver having a new forever home in Elizabeth's locked room. But now that Lee had called, it was okay for you to go upstairs to your bedroom and talk to her. You made your way up the stairs smiling. A second? After you had arrived, you shut the bedroom door firmly behind you. You took a seat on your bed. Alright, I'm here.
Cool.
Cool. Hey, did you know the girl down the street from me has her own phone now? A cell phone. She doesn't have to wait for someone else to stop using it or anything. Wow, really? The thought of someone having a phone that was all their own seemed unbelievable to you. Right? I wish I had one too, but my parents said I couldn't get my own phone until I'm more grown up. I wish they'd change their mind. We could call each other every single day and no one would be able to stop us. How great would that be? Really great, but wouldn't I still be using a home phone? Too bad that's so far away. Yeah, that. My moms would be able to stop us if they wanted. Lee laughed. You didn't put a damper on her imagination. Oh, then you have your own phone too. That works. She sighed dramatically. I bet I'm not gonna get one until I'm all the way in college. Squeezing the phone between your shoulder and ear, you puffed up your pillows and made yourself more comfy. It was strange to think of a time when normal school would be over and you'd still have to choose whether or not to go to a college. School was such a big part of your life right now. Studying didn't come easily, you worried about the most people. either this one or this one. Probably this one. Oh, no. Yeah, this one. In middle school, this one. Coasting by had become routine for you. Teachers had always warned you that you wouldn't be able to do that forever, but you figured it was enough for now. You felt a lot of pressure to get higher grades than you did last year. You hoped to do just as well this year, but it wouldn't be a big deal if it dropped. You were confident your grades would remain great. You had no plans on getting excellent scores this time around. I was always like this. I didn't really care. Grades weren't the most important thing, no matter how good or bad they ended up being. Yeah, I mean, I was always happy when I got a good grade, but it wasn't good enough for me to focus on it that much. So I would rather stay in my room and like play games or write a story. Back in middle school, I would write at least 1,000 words daily. Like, I was determined to write one shot every single day or something else. I was like, no, I have to make one chapter or one shot, or I can't do anything else. And only after I finished, I could go play with my cousins or play Minecraft or I don't know, whatever else. And at night it was time for homework. And then I would stay up late watching TV, like cartoons. And when I say late, I mean like really late. When I was 10, I would stay up until 2 a.m. because the old episodes of Pokemon were on, and Super Strikers. And I was like, and Galactic Football. And I was like, I wanna watch Galactic Football, Super Strikers, and Pokemon. So I need to stay until 2 a.m. and then I can go to sleep. Yeah. You tried to sound engaged, but your mind had decided to go back to school despite the season. Lee knew you too well to be fooled.
What's up?
You sound so spacey. What's up? Just thinking about school. Lee groaned. Are you thinking about how we don't have to think about it because it's summer? That's what I'm doing. I'm looking forward to going back. Let's make a petition for more vacation time. It's so awful I hate going. Come on, it's too scary not to think about it. None of that would be me. Let's go for this one. Yeah, everybody in class would sign it. Maybe some of the teachers too. Though I guess school isn't all the way bad. You can do some good things there. You can just do more when school's out. Learning new things can be cool. No. And just no, I hated PE. It's the easiest way to hang out with people, the cafeteria lunches. There's nothing good about my school. I like learning. I like studying. I just wish everyone did okay with how they taught the things, not just some people.
Me too.
Me too. Yeah, and that's all. And that's pretty much everything that's good about school. Okay, point taken.
All right.
Now I decree the topic of school is officially closed. We have to talk about the summer first before we start plotting the rest of our lives. I've got some plans already. Ooh, tell me. I'm gonna visit my cousins. You chuckled, of course. What's something you wanna do? The first thing that comes to your head. Time of people, new art supplies, reading, that would be one of them. Time at the beach, that would be also one of them. Time at the beach, I'd say. I could have guessed that one. You leaned back in your bed, settling in as you continued chatting with your friend. Even though it hadn't been that long since you saw her and you'd be seeing her soon, you found plenty to talk about. For one, the events of the day. You sat up straighter. I was with the Cove and Derek today and we met a new kid. Like, at your neighborhood? Mm-hmm. His parents are visiting family, so it sounds like he'll be around for a little while. I don't know how long. What was he like? Creepy, mean, weird, kind of interesting. Mean. He kept snapping when all we were trying to do was talk to him. He just kept being rude to everyone. But especially Cove. It was awful. I don't think I want to meet him. You want a boy to stay away before even meeting him? That's an unexpected twist. Your cousin was pretty popular with the boys who knew her. She seemed happy enough to have them around until they started to annoy her. Wow. She's Heather. But to be honest, that's canonically accurate. As a kid, I was always the Heather's friend. Like, if you had a Heather in school, I was their friend. If I had a friend, like in my elementary school, then at middle school I was too closed off to even have a friend, and then in high school, I was always the friend of a Heather. Hey, who are you? Oh, I may add, I am not saying Heather derogatory. I think, like, there's a reason why I was always friends with them. They are calm, they are nice, there's no reason not to. Like, I'm just chill with them. So yeah, I always gravitated towards the Heathers of the class. Hey, who are you to talk? You give practically all your attention to boys, or maybe just one boy. I see how much you like Cove. You got me, yeah, that's a special case. I don't give him all my attention. You weren't able to say anything to that. I don't give him all my attention. Today I chose to spend time with my sister. Lee laughed at your denial, deeply amused. Even though she couldn't see, you shook your head at her, grinning to yourself. There was a stomping noise approaching your room, heralding the arrival of your irritated older sister. She flung the door open, a frown etched on her face. The little adventure from earlier hadn't gotten you any good with this time. Well, this time, it seemed.
Come on.
How long are you going to hug the phone? Glancing at your watch, you realized that your quick call had gone on much longer than anticipated. Elizabeth held out her hand, the other one lodged on her hip. She noticed the realization on your face. Time's up. Gotta go, I'll see you soon, okay? With a sigh, you say goodbye to Lee. Sorry for being long, I'm still using it, now get out of my room. I would sigh and say bye. Like, if I know there's only one phone and I am already using it for hours, like, it's time for someone else. I was a good kid. Lee, I have to go now.
Bye.
Okay, see you soon. Tell Elizabeth and your mom I said hi too. You'd barely pressed the end call button when Elizabeth whisked the handset from your fingers and began dialing someone new as she strode out of the room. Your mom's voice called from downstairs. Hey, has anyone seen the phone? I'm using it. With that, she shut your door behind you. Silence was left in the wake. That was one way to end your first day of summer break. Okay, let's save real quick. Alright. Okay, halfway in. Let's go. Sometime later, it had gotten dark outside, and you laid in bed wide awake. Your window rattled all of a sudden, startlingly badly. You flinched, staring over at it with furrowed brows. From your vantage point, you saw only the moon and open sky. You were curious? Because it has happened those 5 years ago, and I would be like, Golf is playing pranks. It's probably him. You know, the memories. What had caused that noise? Cocking your head, you sat up and moved closer to the window. You wanted to get to the bottom of this. To your utter shock, your gaze was met by a pair of familiar ocean blue eyes. Cove? You squinted. Yep, Cove was right outside your window. Your house was very angular and some parts stuck out further than others, so it theoretically wouldn't be hard to climb around on. Still, just because somebody could didn't mean you expected it to ever happen. Cove looked awkward and unstable. His feet were braced against a section of the wall that jutted out, his arms flexing with the effort to keep him upright. With difficulty he waved. Then he wobbled, immediately dropping his hand in alarm. You hurriedly opened the window. Cove scrambled inside, nearly falling flat on his face. But he was able to right himself in the end. He's so eepy. He released a breath once he was steady.
Hey.
Hi, Machi. What are you doing? What's up, Romeo? This sure is a surprise, but you're always welcome here. Is everything okay? What happened? You're lucky I didn't start screaming. Amazing, my dreams have come true. I would go for this probably. Like, as I said, I was a teasy piece of a kiddo. So, if I see an opportunity, I'm taking it. I needed to talk to you and couldn't wait until tomorrow. If I rang the doorbell, I know your mom would have answered, and they'd just make me go home. I didn't really want to explain why I was coming over anyway. I don't want to talk about it. Well, besides with you, I mean. That's why I did that. As unexpected as this was, you were touched, Cove felt like he could tell you what's wrong. I might have tried calling or something, except my dad was on the phone. Cove suddenly looked very cross. That he was talking to my mom. Still is, probably. You raised your eyebrows. Cove had eavesdropped on his parents' phone conversation? You shouldn't have done that. Eavesdropping is bad. I would have done that too. You didn't comment. No, I wouldn't comment. Like, he was talking, I'd be like, okay, and so... what about that? What's going on? There are other things to talk about. Are you going to stay with your mom for a while again? Every year, Cove was sent off to live with his mom for a few weeks. When it happened varied. Sometimes he would go during winter break, but usually he went during summer. Even though it was hard news when you found out he was leaving you and you missed seeing him those weeks, he understood. To your surprise, however, he shook his head. That's what I thought too, but no, that's not what they were saying. My dad asked my mom not to have me leave this year. He said she could come stay with us here. You waited for him to continue. He didn't. The conversation abruptly dropped off. You couldn't help but stare at Cove. There was a complicated mix of expressions on his face. What did your mom say? She told him she'd come. I know she's coming soon, before school starts. Oh. You had heard Cove talk about his mom a lot over the years. He'd tell you about past memories or what happened while he was visiting her. Still, it was one thing to hear about someone and another to actually meet them. Very soon, you were going to see Cove's mom in person. You were taken aback by the news, so you could only imagine how Cove felt. You looked over at him. He was pacing across your room, his features painted with dread. Before they'd barely stay in the same room long enough to have lunch. Now we're gonna be all together again? The three of us, after all this time? Just for a few weeks? I know I should probably be happy they can talk to each other now. I'm still not. I'm just confused and freaked out. And now I feel really bad for feeling this way. Machi, it's so... His fist tightened and his eyes became misty. I love how much of a crybaby he is. Like, every 10 minutes he's crying, and that's so cute. Like, that's one thing you can do to make me hug you. I would hug you for that. We love when our men cry. I wouldn't keep Getting like this. I shouldn't keep getting like this. It's been a long time already and I'm not a little kid. Though he wouldn't meet your eyes, you knew he was waiting for you to say something. There's nothing wrong with feeling bad. This is hard to deal with. You can deal with this. I'm sorry, Kov. I'm here for you. That's a lot. This is hard to deal with, yeah. The tense line of Kov's shoulder eased. Thanks. That makes me feel a little better. Like I'm not freaking out for no reason. A momentary silence fell over the two of you. You marveled at how the day started. You had woken up eager for summer vacation, but now things seemed so crazy. The mini debacle with Mr. Holden's gift, the newest addition to the neighborhood being so rude, and as if all that wasn't enough, now Kov's mom would be living with Kov and his dad again. Your whole life was kind of like that, it seemed. Complicated and hard and different. Why couldn't things just be better with time? Machi, the sound of your name said quietly pulled you from your thoughts. Kov gazed at you, concerned.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. You meant it. Yeah, I'm okay. You didn't mean it. No, I'm not. I don't know. For me, I'm worried about you. I mean, nothing's happening to me. Everyone around is having shit happen to them, like the kid being mean to my friend, and my friend having problems with his mom and his dad, and kind of slipping off of my sister, but not really. It's complicated, but he's got it worse, so I'm not making it about myself. You don't have to forget about yourself for me. I want to listen to you too. Kov grinned reassuringly. It was small and delicate, but you knew it was genuine. Moonlight from outside cast shadows across his face and lit up his eyes. They seemed to sparkle with a smile. Just that one look brightened your mood somewhat. I think I don't want to talk anymore about this. He looked away, his lips thinning into a line, and wrapped his arms. But I kinda don't want to go back home either. Could I stay a little longer, just doing something else? He appeared equal parts hopeful and vulnerable. How could you possibly turn him away? You can stay tonight, we shouldn't make a habit of this. I've got a flashlight and some cars, are you in? Of course you can always stay here, Kov. Of course you can always stay. You held his gaze confidently, hoping your words got across to him. Kov perked up at your response, a smile appearing on his face. He immediately took a seat on your bed, not afraid to get comfortable in your room. You felt a little better at the sight, somehow. You still had a lot of worries, but you were glad he was here. And not just tonight, you were glad he came into your life in the first place. That was a change you'd never want to undo. It felt totally natural to let him into your little world. That initial friendship had deepened so much over these past years, and you were certain that there was room to get even closer. You joined Kov on the bed, taking a seat across from him. He smiled at you again, but you could tell this time it was half-hearted. He was still easy to read. Though he didn't want to talk about his mom and dad, he must be thinking about what happened and was about to happen. You smiled at him, you put a head on his shoulder, you patted his back, you hugged him. Let's take his hand. Like, we have a crush, we know he has a crush. We can be more reassuring, we can be a little bit more, intimate with him. You reached out and gently held his hand. It wasn't much, but you hoped the contact helped even a little. Kov blinked, startled, before his expression softened into something more natural. Conversation was stilted and broken often by silence at first. Then both of you were able to get into your usual candor. As your secret hangout session stretched on, you thought that you truly wanted to keep having moments like this with him. You hoped that day would never come when life decided that the two of you would have to part ways. And you knew Kov felt the same. You opened your tired eyes, groaning as they adjusted to the bright light that was streaming through your window, and warming your pale skin. With a loud yawn, you rolled away from the sunlight and blinked a couple of times, clearing the sleep from your eyes, before realizing with a start that it was actually morning. You couldn't remember even falling asleep. Cove had crept through your window during the night and the two of you spent time together trying not to wake your parents. You must have fallen asleep while you were hanging out, but couldn't put a finger on exactly when. You wondered how late Cove had stayed before heading home. You rubbed your face and yawned again, contemplating whether you should get out of bed and get ready for the day or stay snuggled up for a little longer. Second? Until your gaze landed on an instantly recognizable mop of pale green hair, and you bolted upright and gasped in surprise. He never left! He was still there, in the morning! Cove! You laughed out loud, you jumped out of bed, you froze. I would laugh. I mean, as I said, I'm pretty chill with people I'm close with, so... He had fallen asleep while sitting on the ground and precariously leaning his head on the side of your mattress. With your laugh, Cove's eyes snapped open and his head slipped from its source of support. He didn't stop going down until he smacked right into the floor with a crack. You clamped a hand over your mouth and looked down at him with wide eyes, curled up where he had landed rather ungracefully.
Aww.
You left him more, okay? You helped him. I would laugh even more. Cove gave you an unappreciative look, but you couldn't help it. That was too funny. If either of your moms found out Cove had slept here last night, the two of you would be in big trouble. Cove blinked at you a couple of times, his eyes growing in panic as some thought that only he could hear settled in his mind. Oh my god! I fell asleep! You weren't exactly sure what to do as you watched Cove pace your room, looking around frantically. Cove's hands flew to his face, letting out a sigh of relief when he found his glasses right where they were supposed to be. Despite that, he hadn't calmed down completely. The atmosphere was still frazzled. It's going to be alright, we're going to be in so much trouble, just calm down, settle down before Moms hear you. It's going to be alright. You just need to leave before anyone notices you're here. If they knew, we would have heard about it already. Cove nodded, his shoulders tensed as he fixed you with a firm stare with his turquoise eyes. Letting out a heavy sigh, he ran a hand through his hair in exasperation. He couldn't look at you again as he spoke. I'll see you later. You were confused by how all of this had played out, but hoped that was true. Right, bye Cove. At that, you were suddenly wrapped up in a tense embrace. As panicked as he was, this seems to be something you couldn't forget before leaving. That's so cute! Thanks. Again. You're a good friend, Machi. A really good friend. He firmly whispered to... Oh wait, this was a whisper. Should I whisper? Do you guys want me to whisper? I will whisper. Thanks. Wait. Thanks again. You're a good friend, Machi. A really good friend. Was that good? You can see where my window is. Oh my god, why am I acting so stupid? Sorry. A really good friend, yes. He firmly whispered the words into the top of your shoulder. It made you feel tingly. But you were let go before you had a chance to respond, or even fully react. In a matter of seconds, he had climbed over your bed and opened the window. A cold breeze rolled off the ocean, fluttering through Cove's hair and filling your room with its salty scent. Cove anxiously stepped out onto the ledge. You wished him luck, you railed him to keep going, you suggested he sneak out the door instead, you urged him that I wished him luck. Go back, be super careful. You weren't sure if he heard you or not, but he kept going along, one foot in front of the other with increasing speed until his form disappeared out of sight. You stuck your head out the window as far as it could go to try keeping watch. He walked the full length of the ledge before jumping down to the top of the garage, then lowering himself onto the fence. From there, he finally dropped down to the ground. You threw out a thumbs up at his successful climb. He ran off towards his house without stopping, disappearing behind the side of another building. You had told me that you were pretty impressed at how doable he made it look. Cove always seemed to have a way of seeming so smooth without even meaning to. With a little sigh, you reclosed your window. Deciding there was nothing more you could do, you hopped off your bed and got ready to head downstairs for the day. Slippers. Put on my slippers, let's go. You knew it was summer, but your slippers were comfy and cozy and made you feel better whenever you wore them. You took the stairs, slowly attempting to mask your face into a look of innocence. You were sure that someone would have come into your room if they had heard anything strange, but you couldn't be too careful. You had to play it cool. Second. When you stepped into the living room, Elizabeth was there, tapping her finger on the counter. "Good morning, Elizabeth." She looked you over immediately, her eyes squinting at the greeting.
Why?
"Why are you being so weird? You hadn't even done anything. Your big sister never missed a beat, unfortunately." You turned and offered a tight smile. And her lips pursed. Fuck. You turned and offered a tight smile, and her lips pursed together even tighter. "Machi? Wouldn't you like to know?" You excitedly blurted it out, you folded. "Sorry." I shrugged it off. "I'm not." You spoke so nonchalantly, almost thought she believed you. But you knew better. Further suspicious squinting occurred as she waited for something. But ultimately she rolled her eyes and you weren't sure if you were in trouble or not. She didn't seem to care enough to dig any further. Whatever. And then she walked straight out the front door, let it slam shut behind her, and you let out a brief sigh. Elizabeth went out most days to hang out with her friends from school around town. Today you were extra glad for it, though you were also grateful she hadn't left the house any sooner and risked running into Cove. It looked like you were getting away with that. Breakfast was eaten in peace and alone. Your moms were both out by the time you had gotten up. They had left you a serving of food from the breakfast they made: hash browns and omelette, fruit salad, and there was a few sausage links. I took a bit of everything. It was tasty. You appreciated that there was variety of meals your moms made. The day lazily drifted by at home, and eventually your parents returned. You pulled open the fridge again, lingering in the frosty air for a moment or two before grabbing a bottle of ice-cold water and taking a long drink. It was a perfect balmy summer afternoon, and you had decided to head outdoors and find something to do. You hadn't decided what that something was just yet, but you were sure something would pop up to occupy your time. As you were heading out the front door, you paused for a moment. You hadn't seen Cove since he had left the morning, and you couldn't help but think about what had happened to him. Would it be bad to go over to his house right now, or to call him to check in? You stepped out of your house, still stuck in an internal debate with yourself, when a voice caught your attention.
Hi!
"Hi, Machi!" Confused, you looked over to where an unrecognizable woman was waving at you, a friendly smile plastered on her face. You racked your memory for where you might have seen her before, but nothing came to mind. Not your school or from the country club your moms took you to. You had absolutely no idea who the woman was. The woman crossed the road towards you. You were a little unsure whether you should stay put or go back into the house and knock the door. Damn! Alright, alright. Okay. Mr. Holden, you fumbled. You so fumbled. This woman, this girlie right here, if you don't want her, I mean, I can get her. Damn. Oops, I'm sorry. Was that presumptuous? I thought about you, but you have no idea who am I. Who I am, do you? You shook your head and she removed her sunglasses to reveal sparkly ocean blue eyes. All of a sudden, she seemed a little more familiar. My son lives here, and my ex too. With a bent smile, she lifted a hand to point at the condo across the street from your own house. She was Cove's mom. You didn't know why you hadn't realized sooner, now that you'd gotten a good look at her. She's in there, she seems sort of strange, young, different, super pretty. This beautiful lady was Cove's mother? Wow. No matter your thoughts on her, you still felt taken aback that she had appeared here so suddenly. Cove mentioned she was coming, but you hadn't gotten the impression it would be the very next day. She extended a hand again, this time for you to take, and you studied the manicured fingers in front of your face and the assortment of bracelets that dangled from her wrist. Okay, Kyra Priest. You can call me Kyra. You shook her hand. You reached out and took her hand, and she took yours firmly, grinning wide. I'm Machi, but you already know that.
That I do.
Cove's mentioned it to me before. It's nice to officially meet you, Machi. Cove talked to you about his mom. He hadn't mentioned how he said things about you to her. What has Cove said about me? What did he say about me? I wanna know, I wanna tease him about it. Oh, I can tell you that. I've already said too much. She laughed good naturally. Good naturally. You couldn't be happy about that answer though. The sound of a door opening and closing caught both your attentions, and when you turned towards the sound, it was to find Cove excited exiting his house, his eyes skimming the ground. Considering just how tall he had grown, you kind of figured his mom also would have been tall, but she was much more on the short side, for an adult anyway. Cove's height must have come from his father.
My baby!
There you are! I thought you were gonna keep me standing out here all day. You tried to catch Cove's eye as he walked towards you, but his gaze was firmly fixed on the sidewalk. When he finally crossed the road and looked up, he gave you a pitiful look. After the way he had acted last night, you knew he must have been feeling pretty mixed up about this. You tried to wordlessly express that you understood. Cove and I are heading into town to grab something to eat while the snow is at work. Kara beamed at Cove and ruffled his hair, which only seemed to upset him more. You assumed the snow she was talking about was Mr. Holden. Hey, you should come with us, Machi. I'd love to get to know you better. Yeah, you should come. There was a plate in Evilstone that you couldn't miss. Of course, we'll run it by your parents first, responsibility and all that.
Any whoosies.
It will give me access to meet them, which I need to do at some point. It's important to be neighborly if I'm going to be roosting in the streets for the time being. Any whoosies, let's go! Kyra walked ahead towards your house, and you hung back with Cove, who crinkled his nose as he watched her.
Sorry.
I'm sorry about her, but I really do want you to come. I don't want to be just the two of us, not right now. You leaned in closer and whispered while checking around for anyone who might hear. What happened? Did your dad know you were gone? Cove shook his head and sighed heavily. Dad was so focused on Mom showing up that he didn't even notice. Normally, I would consider it bad parenting. In this situation, I mean, Cove, have you seen your mom? Have you seen her? I am not surprised at all. If she was visiting me, damn, this house would be shining. This house would be in perfect condition. If I knew that woman was visiting, if she was coming over, everything just clean, shiny, and you can eat of it. Hima woke up. I thought when I heard them on the phone last night that it was something they were planning for the future. This morning Dad said it was supposed to be a surprise, and I guess I was surprised. She's gonna be here all summer. Oh. You were surprised by that too. Cove sighed again, even heavier. I'll go with you, if you really want me to. He smiled, his shoulders relaxing a little in relief. Thanks, that would be cool. The two of you headed over to where Cove's mom had just knocked on your front door and stood behind her. Mom answered the door after a minute. Her eyebrows lifted in surprise at the group she found in front of her. You realized that, like you, she would have no idea that it was Cove's mom who was hanging with you. However, after blinking at the woman a couple of times and looking between her and Cove, the realization seemed to strike on her. Hello there, I'm Pamela.
I see.
I see you've met my kid, Machi, and I'm guessing you've already known Cove for a while. Kyra laughed, and you and Cove exchanged looks at your parents' weird sense of humor. I'm Kyra Praise, Cove's mom. It's so nice to meet you. A head of purple-brown hair caught your eye as Ma popped up behind Mom, squeezing herself in beside her. Honestly, if she's jealous, I'm not surprised. Like, those eyes she was given to Mom a moment ago, those were bedroom eyes. There is something going on there. We have company. I was wondering what all the commotion was. I really need to learn how talking works. She grinned excitedly at Kyra. The two of them introduced themselves and shook hands.
Hello.
Hi, Machi. Cove. Cove smiled at Ma shyly, and she gestured a hand towards the living room. There's no use hanging around in the doorway. Why don't you come in? I'd love to, but I promised to take my son out to eat, and I wouldn't want to hold you up with a surprise visit. Aw, I understand. You're welcome to stop by anytime.
Of course.
I'll take you up on that offer when I can. Count on it. Would you mind too much if Machi went with Cove and I? My treat. We won't be driving, just a quick walk down the road. Sure, that sounds nice.
Have fun.
I hope you all have fun. You gave your moms a look, and they smiled at you fondly. Wait, I need to get myself. I can't sit still for too long. I'm sorry, guys. You were happy they were letting you go. You were annoyed. I was happy. Oh, such a big kitty. Such a big kitty. Hi. Here. Come on. Yeah, that's a microphone. You could tell that Cove really needed the support, and you were ready to be there for him.
Marvelous.
Expect us to be back in an hour or two. I really need to take my time reading this. We look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Your parents waved goodbye to the three of you as you backed up onto the street. There was the sound of the front door closing behind you. Meow. Ah. Yeah, she just woke up. I'm pretty positive I saw some restaurants when I was in the taxi, not too far from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tourist town, isn't it? There's a lot of them around. It was kind of strange to see Cove give someone this much attitude. If he wasn't in the mood to be nice, he generally just kept to himself. Kyra put her hands on her hips and smiled at her son. Well, you sound like the area expert. Do you have any recommendations for a place nearby? Not really. Kyra pouted at him a little and turned to you instead. How about you, Machi? Wanna point me in the right direction? You shrugged, not really. I have a couple favorites, you nodded. I have a couple favorites. I would want to try to make them look nice, so... You'd been to a lot of places in town, and there were a couple that stood out from all the rest. There's a Chinese restaurant that me and my family go to all the time. It's my mom's favorite. There's also a tropical themed place that tries to be sort of fancy. Both sound like a treat. I'll leave it to you to pick for us, since Cove is going through a phase over there. He huffed at her and turned his face away. I mean, I feel like their oval or aesthetic is more like tropical theme. So I don't want to insist on one of them choosing, because if none of them feels like it, like she wants me to choose because she wants to be nice and she wants to be friends with her son's friends, and he doesn't want to because he's being moody. Like, I'm just gonna choose to not make it worse.
Thank you.
Thank you, Machi. Will you show us the way? You nodded, taking the lead of your little group as Cove and his mom followed behind you. Together, the three of you left the neighborhood behind. The walk was about 15 minutes, and along the way, Kyra asked a lot of questions about the area. Cove was quiet most of the time, so you ended up answering her instead. Kyra explained that she lived in a large city and she loved how peaceful and relaxing everything seemed in Sunset Bird. Yeah, they definitely fit this aesthetic. The restaurant was busy as usual, but luckily you were shown right to the small table. Kyra lowered herself into the chair, while Cove picked the one diagonal to her. Not facing her or to her side. It was awkward. Well, I guess I'm gonna sit in front of her next to Cove. Let's see. To start, what would you all like to drink? I get an orange soda.
Noted.
Machi? Coffee. Kyra gave you a raised eyebrow, but then smiled. Iced or hot? There's sugar on the table if you want to add that, but do you want cream with it? Ice with cream. Sure. Kyra placed the order for your drinks, getting a black hot coffee for herself, and it didn't take long before they were brought to the table and set in front of you. You took a long sip of your drink and looked around the restaurant. Your small group checked over the menus, deciding what to order. The last time you came here, the dish you ordered was amazing. You wanted to order something different this time. Kyra and Cove didn't need any encouragement for this. They were totally focused on the information in front of them. Soon the meals too were ordered and the menus taken away. You glanced at the table surface, waiting to figure out what to say. Cove sank back further into his seat and avoided eye contact. He started to twiddle his thumbs while acting like all this was perfectly normal. His sour feelings today were unignorable. Instead of asking more open questions, he'd brush off. Kyra had mercy on her son and instead put her focus towards you. So, Machi, what's a few things that you're into? There's gotta be something you do for fun, especially now that you're not buried in school assignments. I like to read, listen to music. I'm not really good at making music. I like to sing. Not gonna lie. I can't do it well, but I like to do it. Watch stuff. Games are fun. I like to play. I'm really into golf. I write things. That would be me. And like 13-year-old me would say this. But I'm gonna save this just to see his reaction, and then we're gonna come back. Kyle let out a sudden laugh and Cove gasped beside you. It was a dramatic enough inhale that he almost choked on the soda. You shrugged at the reaction. It was a truthful answer to the question. Okay, now let's load it. Because I wouldn't say that, I just wanted to see how they played it. I'm not that nonchalant. I write things. A fellow writer! Oh my goodness, guys. Guys, help. A fellow writer, she says. Am I in trouble? I may be in trouble. Writing is such a great form of expression, don't you think? Kyra sighed wistfully, her eyes going soft. Oh, okay, so I can say many things. I like to read. 13 years old. I was starting manga. So, fiction novels, that one. Me too, nothing beats curling up with a good book. And manga. I haven't heard of that style, but I'm sure it's very good. And magazines. How interesting, I think we'd get along. And I like to watch people, no. Games are fun, I like to play video games. I don't know much about them, but maybe you can show me sometime. And some specific, I don't know many card games, but there's one that we played a lot with my cousins. It's called Speed. I like card games too, maybe we can all play together sometimes. I never played many board games, so yeah. Hang out with people, music. I listen to a lot of it. I have an MP3 player at home and my mom helped me put some music on, and I've seen some concerts. Awesome. And I'm not into sport. I like to swim. You must be a strong swimmer since you live so close to the ocean. I find the water a little scary, but I still like to dip my toes sometimes. I would be such a good swimmer if I lived near the sea, cause I love swimming so much, especially when I was a kid. And if I would have it like close, like 10 minutes walk, let's say, or even 20 minutes walk, you would not be able to get me off the beach as a kid. Like, I was able to spend 8 hours a day in water as a kid. So yeah. And you know what to say it. I'm only saying it because Cove haven't said anything throughout my whole yapping, and I would be like, okay, I need to bring his attention. Okay, we let it. Oh wait, it was different. Kyle let out a sudden laugh, and Cove gasped beside you. It was a dramatic enough inhale that he almost choked on the soda. You shrugged at. Okay, yeah. Machi. Cove whispered at you disapprovingly, obscuring part of his face with a hand, but Kyra only waved him off and encouraged you to go on. We spend time together when we can. I like it. Well, we have something in common. Kyra smiled at Cove, who didn't look too impressed by either of you at this moment. Well, at least I got you engaged. And you didn't say anything else. I'm happy to learn more about you. There's so much I hadn't heard. Cove leaves the details out. He was trying not to pay attention, but you could tell he was uncomfortable. Hoping it would clear some of the tension in the air, you decided to ask Kyra a few questions of your own. Cove hadn't told you much about her, and you were curious to know more about this woman who was such a big part of his life. What exactly do you do for work? I'm a travel writer for magazines and things. I keep people in the loop on what's worth seeing. It's good work. Wow. What do you like to do? Where do you live normally? Are you in a new relationship now? Miss Mom, are you single? Miss Kyra, are you single? Are you perhaps single? No, we're not asking that because Cove is right next to us. And we're not asking that because Cove is right next to us. What do you like to do? Spend time with my little boy, of course, and traveling. A real shock, right? Where do you live normally? Nevada. Have you ever been there? You shook your head. It's a beautiful place. Check it out if you can. And that's it. We're not asking those two. That would be insensitive. It didn't seem to bother her that the conversation dropped off. Cove sipped his soda angrily, slurping up the remaining drink with furrowed brows. He looked ready to run straight out of the restaurant. You weren't sure if coming along had ended up making the lunch better or worse. You made smiled, sympathetic. I smiled at him. Cove eventually noticed you watching him. It took a couple of moments, but finally he cracked a smile, and that made you feel a little lighter inside.
Very cute.
I know, right? They are adorable. You two seem really cute together. Cove covered his face with his hand and leaned back in his seat.
Seriously?
Mom, why would you say that? Thanks, we are cute. I would blush. Were the two of you really cute together? Your meals were delivered shortly after that, and everything was so delicious even Cove enjoyed his food. Like, that's the thing with me. I can be a tease, but I'm also easily teased. So, since Cove isn't a tease, I feel really comfortable teasing him because I know there will be like no repercussions. When someone else would point it out, I would blush the hell. Like, it's very, very easy to make me blush. Let's just say that. Your meals were delivered shortly after that, and everything was so delicious even Cove enjoyed his food.
Okay.
Second? Alright, now that we're all full and content, can you explain please why you've had a bag up your butt all day? Cove's face scratched at that. Seriously baby, what did Mom do to make you this mad? I haven't even been around a full day yet. He gripped the edge of the table, refusing to make eye contact. The words he spoke were barely audible over the din of the restaurant. You could have told me. She leaned forward to not miss anything else, eyebrows raised. Told you what? He finally seemed to find his voice and spoke the thoughts that had been on his mind. That I wasn't gonna visit you this year, that you were gonna be coming instead. Didn't you invite me? You wanted me here with you. You wanted me here with you. Cove's eyes began to shake, and his frustration ebbed. I do want you to be around, but I didn't know it would be like this. It's not the same and nobody said anything.
I see.
Her expression grew tense. She threaded her fingers together and placed her hand in front of her on the table. We've both been gifted another Clifford surprise. Referring to that as Clifford surprise almost caused both you and Cove to crack a smile. You also had no idea his name wasn't just Cliff. Over 5 years, nobody had ever called him Clifford until now. She smoothed her hair out, not letting go of her stern look. The more things change, the more they stay the same. They let out identical sighs, but smile weakly at one another afterwards.
I'm sorry.
Hima, you have food. Okay, you guys wait. I'm gonna give her some snacks, alright? I'm not gonna mute. I'm just gonna give her some snacks. you will be able to hear the whole thing. My leg got wrapped up. Okay. Hi. Hungry? I'm hungry. Yes. Milan. Milan. You're gonna fall. You're gonna. Careful. Okay. She didn't get any yet today, so you must forgive me for this. But I cannot, neglect her just because I'm sleeping. Wawa. Wawa. Her brain is the opposite of mine today. Like, right now, her brain is in slow motion, and my brain is like hyperactive. She's such a good girl. La, la, la. Okay, Himos. Himos. Focus. Hey. I think she was hearing my parents walking downstairs and she was curious about it, so yeah. Okay. She got some snuggies. She should be alright now. You can go home, Cove. We can still set up a normal trip to my place before the summer ends. Cove sleeps tightly close together. He seriously pondered the option. I mean, I think I do want you to stay. I miss it when you're not here. My heart! She reached across the gap, grabbed his face and planted a kiss on his cheek. Cove tried to wiggle away. Mom, stop! I'm sorry. Sweet young men need to be smushed by their parents. If I don't, they'll take away my mom license. Kyra was completely infused by Cove's admission, though a tone of seriousness did return to her voice when the conversation continued. Do you want to talk to your dad too?
No!
He's such a rebellious little kid. He's like, I don't need my mommy and I don't need my daddy. I am so mad. I should be in on everything. How could you do this to me? I would pinch his cheeks. Cove had snapped the word instantly, but reeled his annoyance back in just as quickly. Maybe later, not today.
It's alright.
Hima. I understand. We can shelve it. Thanks, Mom. Thank you for talking to me, little mister. She grinned affectionately at him before turning away. And thank you, Machi. Huh? What did I do? It's easy to act like a baby with your mom. It's harder to keep that up with your neighbor watching everything. Especially when you really care about what their neighbor thinks of you. She winked. Mom! She just ruffled his hair with a laugh, then moved her hand down to tap the end of his nose. And... Damas. You know what, I'm just gonna let you do that. Knock yourself out. Where were we? And that was how the issue was resolved, and at least between Cove and his mom. When the three of you left the restaurant and Kyra had paid the bill, you walked back to your neighborhood slowly. You had eaten so much by that time you were beginning to feel sleepy. It didn't help that the lunch had happened late and the sun was already beginning to descend from the sky. Imagine like you are Cove's friend in school and you come over like, you know, those few years back when he was still baby and they were still together, like Clifford and Kyra. And you see those two people specifically and you're like, wow. Wow. But eventually you reached your street. Someone was there to greet your group upon arrival. Welcome back, family, and Machi too.
Huh.
Cliff. Dad? The two walked past him into the convo without sparing at the word. Despite the summer heat, their shoulders were cold. Oh, I'm in trouble. He rubbed the back of his neck with a crooked smile, but his eyes were soft as he looked on after them. He's so much like his mom, don't you think? You gave a vague nod, not sure what he was expecting you to do. He nodded back far more energetically. Okay, have a nice night, Machi. You too, Mr. Holden. With that, Cove disappeared to join the others inside. It was your turn to go home now. Summer hadn't started off at all how you imagined it would have, though it turned out to set the tone well. Having Kyra in the neighborhood was a new experience for not only you and Cove, but also both your families, and a dull moment was rarely had. Okay. Oh my god, there's so many. Okay, so this is for Derek. And this is like normal. I don't think we're gonna do Derek. Maybe one from Derek. I need to plan it out, okay? Okay, so we're doing 2 main game, 1 DLC here, 1 DLC here. You're doing great, sweetie. Keep on it. We won't do all of those today, unless we manage to, but I doubt it. Again, it's for you to be able to enjoy the game on your own. If you plan to buy it, I really recommend to buy it. It's very interesting, and well, we can at least do 1, I think, maybe even 2. Since, as I mentioned, I plan to have the stream go on for about at least half an hour more, maybe 40 minutes, something like that. So yeah, let's go. She's so dumb. Wave growing family dinner road trip. We need to pick 2. Growing and road trip. Those are my 2 choices. Here we will go for maybe escapade, and here we will go for responsible, because I think this is gonna show us some other side of Derek. She really wants to play, but I'll just let her mind her own business for now. She's up to something. Growing, let's go. Early one afternoon, you found yourself in the living room with your family. It was another one of those summer days where it felt too hot to go outside, but it was too uncomfortable to do anything inside either. The air conditioner was cranked up as far as you could negotiate it, but everyone was still being pretty lazy. You, your mom and sister were lounging around while the TV blared on in the backdrop, ignored by all of you. You specifically were lying spread eagle, sitting cross-legged, perched on an arm of the couch, dropped over the coffee table. Probably like this. You looked out the windows at the backyard. Not that there was anything of particular interest to watch. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over. She was lying on her back over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand.
Ugh.
I feel terrible. I'm dying in this house and my legs hurt. Mom looked up from the magazine. She'd barely been flipping through and frowned concerned. Could you have strained them somehow? Elizabeth failed briefly, then flopped onto her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know, it just hurts.
Sweetie.
Oh, sweetheart. Ma got up from her seat at the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She did a light pat on Elizabeth's shoulder sympathetically. A second? I am running out of tea. That's not good. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Maybe it's growing pains? You could be taller by next fall. Elizabeth scoffed. She didn't look impressed by Ma's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this. Mom walked over too, leaning against the back of the couch. Kids, they grow up so fast. Soon Elizabeth will have a home of her own. Maybe even with a nice husband and some kids if she feels like it. She sniffled loudly and wiped at her eye, but you could tell that it was just a bit. You tilted your head. Even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys, it was hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or husband. She only seemed invested in hanging out with her group of friends, not chasing after boys. Mom must agree with you, because she shook her head.
Now.
Let's not exaggerate. She's still practically a child. But if you ever do pursue romance, Elizabeth, you can come to talk to me about it. Definitely, we're always willing to lend an ear. Elizabeth's features contorted in disgust. No way! I am not talking to my moms about that. Mom's jaws dropped and she gasped in an exaggerated display of shock. Her hand came up to rest against her chest. Ma only grinned. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all. It really wouldn't be so bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two. I don't, but I can listen anyway. Mom snorted at her own joke, while Ma burst into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the amusement, because she rolled her eyes and sat up.
Thanks.
I'm going back to my room. I'd rather melt alone, thanks. She strode off towards the staircase, taking the steps two at a time. Your mom stared after her, then turned to each other with raised eyebrows. Second? Whoops, looks like we scared her off with all that romance stuff.
Well?
Oh well, we'll get her next time. You watched them titter with some surprise. Obviously your mom liked women, but she had no idea that Ma liked guys too. Today was the first time it heard her say something like that. Ma, I always thought you only liked ladies. You like guys too? Ma turned to you, happy to bring you into things now that you've spoken up. She smiled and nodded. That's right, I like both. But I like your mom most of everyone. She's special. Ma's smile turned all soft in the corners, like it usually did when she looked at her. She pinched Mom's cheek lightly. Mom reached up to cup a hand over Ma's. Even when Ma stopped pulling her cheek, their hands remained clasped together.
You're fantastic.
Thanks, Lani. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you.
Oh.
Oh, Pamela. Ma beamed, then kissed Mom on the cheek she'd been pinching before. You laughed, you thought that moment was very sweet, you cringed. I would cringe. You slouched down as if... when I was 13, I was in my creepypasta phase. Creepypasta nightcore phase. I was cringing at sweetie duty romance like that. You slouched down as if that would hide your from freak. You slouched down as if that would hide you from sight. You were I am going to make myself into a shrimp. That's all I'm gonna say. Why were parents like that? I can read. I'm gonna manifest it. Are you okay, Kimos? Kimos? What are you doing, baby? What? Hi. Good kitty, yeah. Hi. Such a big baby, oi oi. Oi oi. Mom looked back to you, letting Mom's hand go with a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you, and Mom followed soon after. You know, I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer isn't just for Elizabeth. In fact, I think that talk might be needed sooner for you. After all, you already have someone, isn't that right? Mom shook her head and elbowed Ma, but it was futile. Meddler. You blushed, you also elbowed her. Ma! I don't have someone... Yeah, that's true. Ma! Ma only giggled and smiled, not looking the least bit apologetic. There's no rush, of course. You can take all the time you need to figure out what or who you want.
It's okay.
Don't think you have to stick with whatever you come up with right now, either. Life's nice like that. It can change and you can learn. Mom nodded her agreement. The two of us are happy to hear you out, and we may be able to relate better than you think. Still, we won't push the topic, at least most of the time. She gave Ma the weakest scoffing look possible, while being unable to stop grinning. Thanks. You don't have to worry, I drove the bus. Hima? No playing with cables. Okay? I just nodded. Hima! Hey! Shh. I can't even take her away because she's like... If I move, I can hurt her. Hima! By accident, because she got under the chair like wheel. Girl, leave it alone. Leave it and come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. I am going insane. Wait. Keep going. Come on, out with you. Out with ya. There you are. Are you really that bored? Hmm? Is it okay now? Is it okay? Hmm? Are you gonna be a good kitty now? I think she gave up. What? Oh, what a good kitty. You giving kisses? You're a good baby, yes? Good kitty. I picked her up from the ground and now she's just laying the way I just put her on my lap. So half of her body is on my arm, the other half is on my leg, and she's slowly just reaching towards the shelf to throw stuff of it, or at least try. But her hands are too short. Oi, 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 oi. You know, if you wanna get up, you can just get up, right? She's such a lazy bum. Lazy bum, lazy bum, lazy bum. Yes, my baby. Gray cats are so chill. Before I had a tricolor, and I would never be able to do stuff like that with her. Like, with Hime, I can basically do whatever, and she just won't give a shit. Like, as you can hear, she's not even like saying anything. She's just lying there, and she would only get mad if I would try to change her position myself now. Oh, you getting up? Yes? Can I let you down? Himus. What now? What are you scheming? Are you going to go to sleep? Hmm? What's the plan? Huh? What is the plan? You're so pretty. Okay. I think that should be enough. Hopefully. No. Don't even look at the cable. Don't. Okay. You weren't sure what to say. Mom let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realize it was fake. First Elizabeth and now you, Machi? Baby. And there she goes. You will just stay there? Yes? With all the paper? Oh my goodness. Well, that's some toy, I guess. First Elizabeth and now you, Machi? Do you have to grow up? Yes, children tend to do that from time to time. Your parents quickly grew absorbed in their conversation about rearing kids. Honey. She's being a little menace. You took that as your cue to leave, getting up so you could spend some time alone in your room too. They let you go without problem, so you made your way up the stairs. You let out a sigh once you stepped into your room. It was just as sweltering in there as it was in the living room, possibly even a little warmer. You couldn't even open your window since it was hotter outside, and you'd just let this AC out. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering condition in the mirror as you passed by it. You thought back to the conversation you'd had downstairs about growing up and all that. After a moment, you stepped a bit closer to the mirror. You stared at it and turned away from the surface to look down at yourself. You were definitely growing, alright? It was weird thinking about how you were now, in comparison to what you'd been when you were younger. When it came to your body, it was chubby, heavy set. I was chubby. Still kinda am. You shifted this to the side, your head still facing forward and continuing the self-evaluation from this viewpoint. You were born as impacted the way your body grew, but it wasn't what really determined who you were. When it came to your figure, it just was flat, but that would likely change at least a little after you. I wish, but unfortunately, they grew really fast. And yeah, I mean, I asked specifically for it to be designed after my actual body type I had at the moment when it was being designed. So you can tell that they got big quickly. There was no mistake in it, even with your... Oh, I'm just gonna get that back up. Kimos? Hi. Not this way. No, back. Back. I won't let you. No. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No. Back. There was Hime! Zostaw! Bitch! She was trying to spill the tea on my computer just now. You are a very naughty girl. Stay back. Yeah. And stay there. There. No. There you are. You can play with it there. There was no mistake in it. Even with your shirt helping to obscure your form, you had boobs now. You ran a fingertip over your birthmark. That was something that would be consistent for you. You took a step backwards, finished with your impromptu inspection. You locked eyes with your reflection, cocking your head to the side. All things considered, when I was 13, I wanted to look different than I did. I was very self-conscious. You broke eye contact with your reflection, your gaze falling to your feet. You shook your head roughly, putting thoughts of what you were turning into out of your mind. This... He-Man! No! Back! Please behave. This wasn't the time to focus on such things. You had to find something to do in this heat. You shuffled over to your bed, collapsing onto the mattress, your brows scrunched up in thought. Time passed slowly, and to your annoyance, possible ideas back about what to do were few and far between. You gotta come back. I will not take my hand. Come on, scrunch back. Yeah, that's what I thought. What the fuck is that? You weren't sure how long it has been, but eventually you heard your mom call you from downstairs. Mati, there's a call for you. Cove wants to come over. Is that alright? You perked up at the words, sitting up in bed. You yelled back to her immediately. Yeah. Meh. Leave those cups alone. There's tea in them, you little... Hey, let go. What do I do with you, huh? Girlie, what do I do with you? You got to your feet and headed downstairs, eager to see your friend. You needed to go downstairs soon anyway, because your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. Just as you... Hime! Stop it! Hey! No. I'm saying no. Hey! What are you trying to do even? Other than just being a nuisance? Huh? Huh? Hey! Girlie! I'm gonna take a quick photo of her so you can see what she's doing, alright? I'm gonna post it on Twitter. Oh, now you're hiding, now you're being shy. Like, she's right here. Mwah. I need her to pose cutely and get a good angle so the light will be good. Oh, here. Okay, so she's right next to my keyboard and she's pushing it with her paws, which is pushing my microphone, and it can all fall down if she doesn't stop that. Kimos, it's not a toy, okay? It's not. I'm gonna post it off stream actually, not right now. Alright. Let's finally finish this one. Oh my god. We won't be able to do any more. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mom put the phone back on the receiver. She glanced at Ma, leaning her hip against the kitchen counter.
What a pickle.
Well, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves. Ma clicked her tongue in clear disapproval of Mom's words. He's such a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He can just be a bit thoughtless and impulsive. Oh, hey, not on the... Girl, those are freaking scissors. You are cute and all, but please be more careful, okay? Good girlie. I love her so much, even though she's annoying me all the time. You're just a kid, right? Kids tend to be annoying, but you are very, very lovable and sweet. Yes? So cute. is such a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He just can be a little thoughtless and impulsive. Oh, I know, he's very sweet, but that's what makes it more of a problem. If a stranger or some kid from school was egging Machi on to behave badly, I think we can both agree that they did the right thing in the end. But if Cove Holden got into a reckless mood and wanted Machi to be a part of the ride, can we really be certain of what call they'd make then?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Machi helps Cove settle down. He would have gotten himself in even more trouble without them.
Thanks.
You have a point. Matt just laughed as she turned away, still snorting. Her eyes met yours. I mean, they don't know I literally sneaked out in the middle of the night at 8 years old with him to hunt for ghosts. So I guess they may think so, but I think Mom is right here. She blinked in surprise, then waved at you with an easy grin. Mom looked over, noticing you at the foot of the stairs as well. Oh! I didn't expect you to come down already, Machi. I just wanted to let you know that was what was happening. Hime... No. Back. Back. Wsteczny. I'm holding my hand on her head, like not even pushing, just holding it, so she has nowhere else to go but back. You pretended you didn't overhear it, you called Mom out on her comment. I pretended I didn't hear it. Yeah, it's okay, I just got here. From the way Mom and Ma exchanged amused glances, you got the feeling that they didn't believe you. Thankfully, they didn't correctly accuse you of lying. Sure, well, we'll just get out of the way. You and Cove take care. You couldn't help but flush when Ma winked. Mom elbowed her, even as a smile tugged at her lips. Honestly, this lady... Baby... That's enough. Back up. Back up. No, back up. No munchies. No. Hime. Let go, let go. And not the keyboard. That's why I'm pushing you back. Not the keyboard. That's too close. No. Ow! Hey! No, back off. Come here. Come on, out with you. Come on, here. Here, here, here. Whoop. There she goes, we're free. Honestly, this lady. Your moms whispered amongst themselves as they went down the hall. Eventually, you heard the faint sound of the bedroom door shutting. Now you were alone in the living room, tasked with waiting for Cove. And that was just fine with you. If it hadn't been so hot outside, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. You took a seat at the kitchen counter and settled in for the wait. As expected, there was a knock on the door a few minutes later. When you got up and answered it, your neighbor was standing on the other side. He came in once you stepped aside to let him pass, giving a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did, with a wave, with a low five, with a nudge on the shoulder, with a noogie, with a hug. With a low five. You held out your hand and Cove stopped waving to it. to hit it. You grinned at the satisfying smack the contact produced. Cove sighed and wiped at his face a bit. You noted the sheen of sweat across his brow. He must be glad to be back in air-conditioned place, even if he only had to walk across the street to get here. Is something going on? Why do you want to come over? I don't want to do anything, not when it's like this. He gestured vaguely to the humid air hanging around.
So,
I thought I could at least do nothing with you. Aww, that was really sweet, yeah. His words were nice and expressed real fondness for you, in a strange sort of way, which was usually the case with Cove. Have you had lunch yet? I was gonna do it soon. He shook his head.
not really.
I haven't really felt like eating because of the heat. I probably should have lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Girl, eat. You are a growing boy. You need a lot of food. Look at how tall you are. You're probably getting even taller. You need food. Okay. Let's have lunch together. Cove nodded, looking content with your suggestion. Okay, cool. As one, you headed into the kitchen. You crossed your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you should scrounge up for a meal. You don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cold or not cooked? I don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Yeah? After a bit of back and forth, the two of you concluded that you should raid the fridge and cabinet in order to make some sandwiches. I need to raid my cup in order to get some tea. What? With that settled, you had planned to... Okay, no, not okay. With that settled, you had planned to decide on the outside layers first. There was a wide variety to choose from, since everyone in your house had their own favorites. There was white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grains, gluten-free bread, and pita pockets.
Hey,
Could you take the grain one for me? Sure. You reached for the mixed grains and then made your decision. Also mixed grains, actually. You wanted mixed grains as well, so you set just such onto the counter. Then you had to decide what main direction the sandwiches would go in. Sweeter, savory. I don't like sweet sandwiches that much. Sour savory would make it feel like a real meal. As for the specific ingredients, my usual go-to is ham, cheddar, and I guess we could add tomatoes to it and lettuce. Or red onions, I love red onions. But with those two, I feel like lettuce and tomatoes. And then pickles and red onions on the side, with tomatoes as well. Lettuce, tomatoes, no cucumber, pickles and red onions on the side, not on the sandwich. It's like a small salad with tomatoes as well. Really good. Cocktail tomatoes, by the way. For the finishing touch, you intended to top your sandwich with salt and pepper, or mayonnaise. Well, for the tomatoes, for sure salt and pepper. If I can... Oh, and mayonnaise. Actually, can I go back? Not mayonnaise for tomatoes. Well, anyway, you nodded to yourself with a quiet hum, satisfied. The two of you bustled around the kitchen, opening and closing things in order to collect everything you needed for your individual sandwiches. You focused intently on assembling your own, for the most part. When you were close to being done, though, you glanced over at your neighbor. Cove was putting his sandwich together delicately, his brow furrowed and tongue sticking out just barely. There were open jars of peanut butter and honey near his plate, as well as banana peel. Hime, no. Hey, away with you. Away with you. Bye-bye. No, leave the cable alone. Bye-bye. Come on, this way. I know you tables. So, he was making a peanut butter, banana and honey sandwich on mixed grain bread. I didn't think much of it. I mean, should be good. I used to get like banana fried with honey and then that on a toast, and it tasted pretty nice. It wasn't that surprising or interesting. Curiosity satiated, you turned back to your plate and finished your own creation.
Hey. Girly.
Come on. No? No running around? You need to calm down. You're being mean. You can't just attack me because you want attention, alright? I know it's working because I am giving you attention now, but I'm not giving you the attention you kinda want now, so... We good? You little menace. There you go. By the time you were done, Cove had already cleaned up his workstation. He turned to face you, studying your sandwich briefly. A small smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. You guess it didn't look inedible to him at least. Done? Yeah.
Cool.
Nicely agree. He waited as you quickly returned the ingredients and cleaned a few utensils. Then the two of you collected your respective plates. You both agreed on heading upstairs to hang out in your room. You and Cove entered your bedroom while balancing your foot on the plates. Nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. Cove took a seat on the ground, stretching out on the hardwood. Kimos. Calm down, I beg of you. Baby. Cove took a seat on the ground, stretching out on the hard floor in an attempt to keep a bit cooler. He immediately took a big bite of his sandwich, chewed and hummed happily. This sandwich is really good. At least it's something. At this point you sat down and started on your own sandwich. I was enjoying mine, yeah. Obviously, you were a pro at making sandwiches. He leaned back on his hands while chewing. No! Back! Back with you! You demon! His hands while chewing and glanced around. Sorry. I need to look at her right now. No. You will not. You shall not pass. Girly. His every movement was sluggish. Wanna do something? It seemed the plan of not doing anything at all had already worn thin, despite his lack of enthusiasm. Like what? Like what? He rolled his head back, looking up at the ceiling. What about Hangman? Sure, why not? You put your plate to the side and pulled out some markers and scrap paper. As you laid everything on the floor, he scooted back to make more room in front of you. Cove picked up one of his markers with his right hand while keeping a half slice of sandwich in his left.
That's,
Can I pick the phrase? Go ahead, I don't mind. He smiled briefly before he bent over the paper and began sketching the hangman frame. Then he stopped, pursing his lips in folds. He tapped the end of his marker against his cheek. You watched silently as Cove looked down at the paper, up at your face, and then off to the side in a loop. His marker kept tapping his cheek the entire time. You raised an eyebrow. He'd suggested the game and wanted to pick the phrase, but it looked like he didn't actually have anything in mind for it. Finally, he put empty lines on the paper to signify spots for letters. Alright, you can start guessing. You are cute. Probably. You peered over. His secret phrase consisted of 3 words. The first 2 had 3 letters and the last had 4. You thought hard about what your first guess would be. 1 letter of the alphabet. You got 1. After the first round, you were about to take another bite of your sandwich when a thought occurred to you. I wonder if anyone turned off the TV downstairs. The TV, it was on earlier, but no one was really watching. Then everyone started leaving the living room. I know I didn't turn it off. It might still be on downstairs with no one there. Cove smiled crookedly at that.
Oh.
Poor show, playing with no one around to enjoy it. What was it? You squinted off into the middle distance, trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama. Cove nodded sleepily, his eyes closed, then opened again with some effort. Can you give me any specifics? Maybe I can guess it. Well, you rested your chin on your open palm, groggily, thinking as hard as you could. You remember there was a woman with long, blonde hair, I think? She was the one solving crimes, like a detective or something. There were scenes in a police station cause someone got arrested. You lapsed into silence, the both of you thoughtful. Then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined in the laughter anyway.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is. Me neither. And I just saw it. Enter 1 letter of your alphabet. You? Yeah, you are cute. I knew it. Good guess. Another round came and went, and Cove grumbled as he readjusted himself. His features were twisted in a grimace. I feel so sticky. I'm gonna be stuck to this floor forever now. I'll have to charge you rent. You can be my new roomie. Looks like we'll be both stuck here forever then. I'm sticky too. I'm gonna say
You're
this.
right.
Even when we're grey and old, we'll still be right here. Yeah, we have to accept our fate. You giggled under your breath at such bizarre scenario. Cove cracked a smile as well. Then you returned to the game. Yep, that's right. Cove spoke up once more, catching your attention. He was peering down at the piece of paper between you, his expression thoughtful. You know, Hangman is kind of a creepy game. Why did people come up with it? Why did they play it? Maybe it's what they had instead of real course trials back then? I've always wondered about that. I'll have to look it up later. It's a really old game. No one's sure where the name came from. I mean, it's just like, you know, I think if I were to guess, Death by Hanging was probably one of the most popular executions by the time it, you know, could come to exist, the game, I mean. So maybe it was the type of, you know, execution people were the most familiarized with. Therefore, when they were thinking punishment, they were thinking execution and they were thinking strangulation. And so, hangman. I'll have to look it up later. Maybe I'll do that too. That said, the two of you turned your attention back to the game. Well, all the other letters are just singular, so that's another one. By this point, Cove had finished his sandwich. Yours was almost gone too. But now you were getting thirsty. You brought it up to your neighbor. Should we go downstairs to get some drinks? I was thinking that too, but I don't really want to get up. Me neither. You looked down at him, narrowing your eyes with false suspicion. But hey, what happened to you not being able to get up ever again cause you were stuck to the floor? That's still true, man. That's still true. I mean, we're not actually going, are we? I only thought about it. You rolled your eyes and dropped the issue defeated. Cove grinned a little at your disappointment over his victory. You're really close. He's getting nervous. Yeah? You're definitely gonna get it. You are cute. That was the phrase that Cove spent so long settling on. You stared at it. A few correct letters in, you had a feeling you knew what the phrase was. Still, you felt butterflies in your stomach at seeing it, clear as day on the paper. You took in the word for a moment longer, then looked up at Cove. He's so cute, I can't. He had trouble meeting your shocked gaze, a smile settling awkwardly on his lips. His next words left him in a mumble.
I mean...
That's so adorable! It was all I could think of at the time. I gave him a playful shove. Because he's more embarrassed than I am. If he wasn't acting embarrassed, I would be the one embarrassed. But he shows weakness. I am using that. You leaned over and gave him a slight shove, a pot of laughter leaving you. I would let out a little laugh. Let's do a squeak. Kyle smiled a bit more, clearly still feeling awkward about the move he pulled. He turned away from you, his cheeks tinted pink. A moment passed between the two of you. Now would be the perfect time to change the subject, but you didn't. He didn't either. Things started feeling a bit more personal all of a sudden. You looked into Cove's ocean eyes and saw yourself staring back. I really think you're cute. Seriously. Do you mean it? Do you really think I'm cute? I would turn it back at him. I wasn't, and still I am not that good at taking compliments. Unless they are very casual. Like, if someone casually say to me that I look at them, I'm like, I know. But if it's in a situation like this, when it's all personal and intimate, I would just turn it around. Cove's features softened at your words, but he remained serious. Thanks. I meant it too. Finally, he broke the eye contact. I've heard at some point you're supposed to start liking types of people, guys or girls or whoever.
I don't know.
I haven't really noticed that yet. Nothing's changed, not in a big way, not for everybody. Maybe I have to grow up more, but at least with... You waited, but you traded off. He wasn't going to keep talking. You frowned, a little disappointed. You wished that he had continued with what he was saying. You shook off the strangeness of the situation and tried to be supportive. Maybe you just don't like anybody, or maybe you like all types of people. That's normal too. Cove seemed to appreciate that thought, if the smile that appeared on his face lips was any indication. But the expression was quick to disappear. He peered over at you, looking nervous. Okay, what about you? What kind of guy or person do you like? He's so down bad. He winced and seemed to be mentally kicking himself for saying it like that. You considered his question carefully. Do you know who or what you liked? You were seen to have physical attraction in a general way. You seem to feel physical attraction to specific cases and situations. Interests in other people. You didn't think you could tell if you had an interest in people physically. There was only one person you ever had those kinds of feelings for. Honestly, this one. Like, truly, just this one. I am either just arrow ace or demi. Nothing more than it. Probably arrow ace. Not completely sure. I still have to talk about it with my therapist more, because since I am very anxious, I'm not sure exactly if it's R or A's for me, or if I'm just too stressed out about anything going wrong to let myself have those feelings. But if not, then I'm just probably R or A's with very, very, very few exceptions. Yeah, and that goes both romantic and physical. But specifically when it comes to how you felt towards boys, something like this, I think. Like, both boys and girls are attractive, but I don't really think about myself being in a relationship. And how you feel about girls? The same. Wow. I mean, I guess since we already have a crush on Cove, we cannot say we are not interested in boys, since we clearly are. For people who aren't exclusive male or female, the same. You returned your attention to Cove. He was waiting patiently for your response. I explained how I felt. He listened intently, taking in every word as you tried to convey how you felt. He definitely perked up a bit when you mentioned having some interest in romantic relationships. It was nice to have people who supported you when it came to who you liked. And he knew he accepted you for who you were too. But you still wonder what he thought about who you are. You know what? I would have to be dumb to say this. Like, he's blushing all the time. He just basically confessed in this hangman game. Like, we're not stupid. He had never treated you differently because of your identity. Disclaimer, I would probably take it as platonic. Knowing myself, I would be like, come on, let's not overreact with this. This may be platonic, come on. Yeah, I tend to be like that, unfortunately. But in this game, well, it's not really me, so yeah, even though we're trying to make it as close to me as possible, it's never gonna truly be me, so yeah. He had never treated you differently because of your identity. Then he scratched the back of his head, sheepish. I'm not sure how we ended up talking about all this when we started out just playing hangman, but it was good, I think. I think so too. Cove chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. So, have you gotten to the beach recently? Yeah, actually. I'm really glad you brought it up. The conversation took a lighter turn after that, and it felt like you got closer that afternoon. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the air cooled down a bit as a result. You pulled yourself off the floor, as did Cove, with some minor complaint. You both stretched your arms, groaning, and yawned into your hands. You glanced out your window briefly, taking in the soft reds, pinks, and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow you had made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. Cove turned towards you, motioning towards your window with his chin. Wanna go outside? It might be better out there than it is here now. Sounds good. I could really use some fresh air. The two of you took your time heading downstairs. You stopped briefly to grab a drink of water, then continued on your way. You step outside, one after another, your destination being the familiar hills behind your house. This time of day, it was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling but stubbornly hanging in there. You felt the breeze cool your heated skin, and he relaxed your shoulders. Cove closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it out here. I do too. Let's not tease him right now. That's a nice moment. We don't need to make it like, we don't need to joke about it. Cove smiled. Tendrils of his hair danced with the wind. A beat passed, but his gaze didn't stray from your own. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke again. I'm glad I met you, Machi. You're really important to me, you know? You blushed, I feel the same. You smiled. I would blush if he would say it so seriously. Like, that's the moment when I feel teased. You hope that your reaction wasn't obvious, but it must have been because his smile grew at the corners. Then Cove reached over and held your hand without another word. Even as the sun disappeared completely and the sky darkened, you and Cove remained side by side for as long as you possibly could. Question, is Derek gonna, like, you know, flirt with us too? Because if Derek is gonna flirt with us as well, I mean, okay, we'll see how it goes. Because right now, I think the Machi that we're playing, I don't know if they, like, you know, work together, right? Like, if you can do both, you know, separately. But I think the Machi we're playing right now is kind of set on Cove. I don't think that's gonna change. We'll see. When we meet Derek and we know him better. For now, we will be finishing. It's been a bit over 3 hours, I believe. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again tomorrow on Valentine's Day. Around the same hour, because, well, my brother has birthday and we're going to visit him, so yeah. Anyway, good night.